hour. It's lunchtime.
You on lunch? You on lunch? You on lunch?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The
What
floor is
up,
yours, brother. The floor is yours. What's
man?
good?
Listen. The chat first off was good. Jay, what up,
What up, fam?
man? Listen, when I seen that video this morning on Twitter, um, the thing is they had sneakers in there, they had tools, and something else they had in there too. You know what I'm saying? And they said this all stems from the train heist stuff. Cause again, the train authority was involved in this, right? So these thefts that have been going on, like they've been tracking this stuff a long time, yo. And like I said in the chat earlier, bro, like to me, all they did, if Cool Kid said anything, it's just confirming information they already had because there's what there's what LAPD put out there as far as what they know, and there's probably more information that they didn't put out there that they had on these guys, bro. And who knows what kind of felony charges and all types of stuff they was looking at. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is how deep does the rabbit hole go? As far as who else these guys, like, if you think it's just one guy, it's not just one guy. That house, that's probably one of several houses where they had all that stuff stocked up in bulk. So who else have they been selling all that merchandise to? Cool Clips is just one of probably several.
Got you. I got you.
And the funny thing too is with the post that they put on Twitter about it, there were so many people saying this is why I can't hit on sneakers app. They got my pair. My pair was stolen. They got my pair, and that's why the inventory is where it's at, because most of the inventory got stolen. That's why I couldn't hit it on sneakers app.
Somebody's purr is getting held up.
But think about it, like,
I feel it.
remember we heard all them brick by bricks got stolen, right? It was like a whole pallet's worth, or who knows how many pairs it was, at a brick by bricks that got stolen off the train. Now they recovered them, but I don't even think Nike's back in possession of those. They're probably still being held for evidence.
That part too. Just real quick, Lewis, we got Perp who tapped in. He's probably working as well.
Sir.
So I don't know how much time you got, Perp. So the floor is yours.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, gentlemen.
my man hit him with that beast mode. Ask him a question. He's like, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
We're going to keep it pushing.
What's good, Perp?
Hey, not too much, man. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, chat. I'm glad to see everybody tapping in.
What
man.
up, fam?
Live, man. Good to see all of you all. And Where Your Kicks is on camera, man. Loving it.
What up?
Yeah, he's on lunch. He's on lunch right now. Speaking of lunch, what you gonna eat? Where you going?
Shit, I ain't going nowhere. I had I usually don't eat breakfast like that. I picked up shit from Wawa this morning because I was hungry. So I'm good right now.
So you good? All right, bet. So Perp, I'm not sure how much of this you've caught, but it was primarily just what is your definition of a snitch?
Diddy.
Damn.
You know, I keep it simple.
Fair enough.
Hey.
I mean, listen, it's someone who, you know, takes whatever relationship that you all have and they capitalize on it, right? And they take you and everything around whatever you all are accomplishing, you know, and kind of flush it down the toilet like, hey, man, listen, yeah, I did it, but it was also, you know, XYZ with me as well. So, you know, it's just like at that point, what did they say when we grew up, when we were growing up, was snitches get stitches and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that was built on a foundation of trust, a bond, friendship, things like values that a lot of people really don't have nowadays. And I always say the moral character of someone that you go into business with is just as important as the business that and objectives you're trying to accomplish itself, right? So if you have unscrupulous people, but then something that you're trying to build, from a wholesome perspective, then, it's always going to fall short. But yeah, taking someone's trust, taking someone's faith that they put in you, for aspect of it. And, when shit goes south, lack of better expression, then you throw them under the bus. You're like, look, better you than me. For me, where I come from, it doesn't carry. It's almost kind of like that scarlet letter. You carry that with you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. He did this, he did that, but he snitched to the feds. He got this, and not condoning. Okay, I'm not saying, hey, somebody goes out there and commits a horrendous crime. You don't snitch or anything like that because see something, say something. But there's a very fine line in the distinction between the two. Now, in this aspect of the sneakers and what we're seeing with Cool Kicks, all things go out the door.
Man, what do they say, Perp? Ain't no honor amongst thieves.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Perp, because that's literally the first part, and somebody else in the comment section had threw the word informant out there as well. But that was the reason why I wanted to start with what is snitching, because the second part to it is, what is a witness? Is there a difference between the two? Can you be two in one? Can you be a witness and a snitch? And then there's some sort of, to your point, there's some sort of ethics, there's some sort of morals, that's going to get thrown in, into this conversation. And then when you mention relationships, right? Can snitching, can there be some sort of confidentiality, that's involved, when it comes to snitching, to where it's like, hey, I told you something in secret, this is supposed to have been confidential, and you released it. Yep. And I also kind of wanted to point out the fact of, like, is snitching always something when it comes to legal or illegal? Like, I'm just going to give you an example, because here was a hypothetical situation. Jay hits the lottery. All of a sudden, he's a millionaire. He hit the lottery for 1.7 million or whatever, and Jay Elevate is now a millionaire. Can I snitch him out by getting on social media and be like, yo, Jay just hit the lottery. He made it. I'm so happy for my guy. We about to go to Hawaii and go party. And Jay's like, yo, chill. Don't tell everybody my business. Now I got people hit me up asking for money and blah, blah, blah. Did I snitch him out? And that's not even like an illegal thing. Did I snitch him out by revealing his business?
You know what? That's a very good question. I kind of went through something similar many, many, many moons ago. So when I was online pledging, nobody knows. There's a whole, air of secrecy around it. If we had social media back then you wouldn't be posting on social media either, right? You just go completely dark. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, one of the guys had seen me that was friends with my brother that was also in that fraternity at the time, right? So then, I go and we cross, and I come out of the probate. My brother finds out. My brother goes and tells the whole freaking family. My uncle, my aunt, all the people that I was going to surprise with it, because we're all Greek. And first thing I find is, oh, yeah, your brother Andre said. I was like, said what? You know what I mean? Well,
right.
So basically, he snitched me out. But at the end of the day, it was all about intentions. And I think that's the very important word to focus on. What are your intentions when you're spreading that? When Jay hits the lottery, which we'll never see him again in a million years if that was true. But, what are my intentions to spread that word, right? Are we doing it out of elation, out of celebration of Jay? Are we doing it because, hey, Jay just hit that, he just hit a lick. Let's hey, you already know we about to hand out, get our hands out for some money and things like this. So it all depends on your intentions at the end of the day. If your intentions are malicious, that's one thing. But if your intentions are to celebrate and just spread good news and joy, that's completely different things. Same scenario, two different outcomes.
I feel that. I like that. Anybody else?
So I want to definitely say shout out to everybody in the chat, man, rocking with us. Definitely go ahead, man. Give everybody on the panel a thumbs up for this fire content that Mr. Think It's providing for us. It's free. It's great. Man, shout out to Purple Haze. Wear your kicks 2-6. Mr. Think Impossible and your boy J Elevate. If not, hey, go ahead and sub up, Ghost Watchers. We're just trying to spread the love. So I want to say this first, Dominique. I read your comment, bro, and no, we're not seeing Kick Cruisers involved in it, but I did say in the past that I felt like this whole entire report, when it came out, I don't think it was more so at the end of the report when they said, hey, they will be doing more arrests. I read it as a deeper meaning that they will be going after even more resellers. I took it as that. So I want to first say that. Nor am I saying that any entity are selling fake kicks. I want to put that out there, or stolen goods. We're just talking about the generalization of everything. With that being said, if Mr. Think, you said it before, hey, if someone robs my neighbor, right, and I have a camera outside my house and my neighbor goes over to me and say, hey, did your camera catch anything to see if anyone who robbed me? Is that a snitch? I don't think that's a snitch, bro. I don't think that's a snitch because, for one, you shouldn't be doing illegal sugar booger. And for two, if you rob my neighbor, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come back and try to get me.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a snitch. Right? You trying to keep your neighborhood and everything else safe. Now, with that being said, if you watch and you're a witness and you see something happen and someone comes to you, authorities say, hey, did you witness this? You can keep your mouth closed. You don't have to say anything. And the reason why I'm saying that is because two things. Depending upon where you come from, you know, in certain neighborhoods, you are always being watched. And with these neighborhoods of being watched, at least how I grew up, hey, if you talking to 5-0, a cop, people gonna walk up to you and question you, hey, why you having a conversation with them? People will walk up to you. And now you looked at being funny because guess what? You are you're talking to authorities. You're talking to them. So a lot of people don't deal with that because they don't want the potential repercussions of, for one, being looked at in the neighborhood as a snitch, and for two, possibly something happening to them. Okay? I'm not telling you guys what to do or what not to do. I'm just giving you the reality of what really happens. Because if you witness something and you come forward, well, are you a snitch? Just like if someone, I don't know, I'm making up something. Someone robs your cousin, right? You're a block away and you running to help out your cousin. And then, cops say, hey, did you witness this? Do you know who it is? And that's your cousin. Are you going to say, oh, I ain't seen nothing? You get my point? So it all depends on how it's perceived. It all depends on how it's perceived and how you grew up. And did it affect you? Did it affect someone who's within your circle, a loved one, a friend, someone you feel like is a brother to you, a sister?
That's fair. Lewis?
I mean, look, the way we've been talking about it is how everyone perceives it, right? If you, a lot of times, like, the way they depict snitches in movies is usually it's somebody who has inside knowledge and they come forward with information because whoever it was they was involved with did them dirty, and they said, you know what? This is how I'm gonna get back at you. I'm gonna start letting them know what's going on. I'm gonna tell them because now I'm trying to find a way to get back at you. We've been talking about like witnessing a murder and stuff like that, and you see who did it, and it's interesting because I think media has clouded our minds as to what we would say. Like if we witnessed like an elderly lady get shot by somebody, I think most people would speak up as to who did that. If we saw some kids get done like that, I think most people would probably speak up. But if when it's amongst like men, I think a lot of times people then would be quiet. Like it's an interesting dynamic at how we look at that. Even if you're an innocent bystander to the situation, you know, depending on who it's happening to, kind of dictates whether or not people will be willing to speak up in the situation. And then, like Jay, you talked about, you know, if the neighbor's cameras captured your house getting robbed, right? You know what's interesting is they say that a lot of people that have their house robbed, it's usually by somebody they either know or the person robbing you has a connection to someone you know. Because how do they know they hit your house and look for those specific items? That means someone was in that house and they knew of something it is you had. And so a lot of times that it comes from that, you know. So imagine your neighbor been in your house and they're the one that's been scoping that joint out. And then someone they connected to put them on and say, hey, you need to come hit so-and-so, and they're getting a kickback from it. So those type of situations have happened before. In this case here, with the whole Cool Kicks thing, like they're the biggest entity thus far that has been hit with this whole situation, from the trains getting robbed and stuff like that. Because someone mentioned it in the comments, oh, this stuff happens in Memphis all the time, right? The thing is, we've had no brick and mortar storefront that's been caught up with a bunch of stolen merchandise to this extent that is, as of right now, in connection with particular heists that have gone down via like the trains out there in the West. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, how many people are really involved in this? How many, you know, that's probably one of maybe several houses around the LA area that's got stacks of this type of stuff, bro. But we see it all the time with some other YouTubers that like to promote the reselling. They've got shipments coming in bulk, right? For example, like the Awake Pink Fives, these Travis Scotts already. They already in the hands of resellers. There was the Awake Pinks was already in the hands of resellers prior to release day, and the Travis Scotts that have been pushed back are already in the hands of resellers.
Right.
Like, so if they don't have a direct Nike account as a distributor from them, they getting the pairs from somewhere. Somebody giving it to them.
That is true. Providing that they're legit pairs, correct? You're absolutely
correct.
Right.
Provided that they're legit pairs, because there's always the stigma out there that some of these sellers are mixing fakes in with the real. That's because you see it happen a lot. You see a lot of these videos go down where people have been caught selling fake merchandise at some of these bigger sneaker shows and stuff like that, and then their tables getting flipped and then getting kicked out the show.
Right.
You know? And Jay just put out a video yesterday about this new person StockX has hired now to help bolster their authentication processes. You know, she worked with several high-end companies or something like that. But I personally feel like she's in for a rude awakening when it comes to trying to deal with these sneakers, because the way Louis Vuitton does stuff, the way Chanel and all them, and how they can, even like a Rolex watch, like the way that they do certain things with those items versus when it comes to sneakers, and how a lot of times, they're almost indistinguishable. It's something. It's a total different dynamic You know, and to Jay's point in his video yesterday, he said, you know, that they removed 100%, 100% legit, right? And it's just StockX verified. So there you go. You know, essentially now it's, we believe it's legit based on what we do, but we could be wrong.
I got you. I got you. Let me run through a I'm gonna run through a definition real quick, and then I want to highlight Johnny right here because Johnny, I know I'm really behind in the chat, but definition, right? My bad. Let me pull it up here. Definition here: snitch, noun, and informer. So somebody did mention informant, informer, right?
I had brought that up.
Right.
Informant versus
So
snitch,
we have that
yeah.
there. Now, what does being a snitch mean? So here goes a little definition. Snitch is an insulting name for a person who informs the police or other authorities when others break the law or the rules. Snitch can refer to an informant who reports a crime or a tattletale who tells on someone, especially to their parent or to a teacher, right? So that's just when I had read that definition, I kind of thought of something, you know, called, and I'm just gonna say it. I kind of thought of like a double snitch, right? So what is double snitching? Let me just give you guys a scenario. This is all hypotheticals, right? This is hypothetical. Let's say we all worked. I'm actually gonna give you a couple of different examples. Let's say we all worked in it. Let's use sneakers, since you know we're all about kicks, even people that's tapped in. So we all work at JD Sports, right? Now, Jay, you're the bad guy in this one. We're all working. Inventory disappears out of the warehouse, and there's some sneakers missing, and we all are working this shift together. A supervisor comes to me and says, we need to sit down and talk. We believe that there's some merchandise that you have stolen. Actually, Jay told us that you stole the merchandise. And I go, what? Hold on a second. I was out on the sales floor ringing up, working the register. I didn't take those sneakers. Jay took those sneakers. Now I'm calling that a double snitching because Jay was the one who took the sneakers, but in order for him to take the attention off of himself, he put the blame on me when I am actually innocent. Is that considered snitching because I'm just exonerating my name? Now, I'm going to use that same exact example. I'm going to give you all a different example to say to the supervisor, what time did these sneakers come up missing? Well, it looks like the inventory was checked out at 12:15. Well, that's crazy because I was working the floor at 12:15. I didn't take my lunch until 1 o'clock. Well, who was in the warehouse? I couldn't tell you that. I was on the sales floor selling sneakers at 12:15. Whoever was in the warehouse, I couldn't tell you. So now I just exonerated my name without telling them who was in the warehouse. Does that all make sense so far?
Gotcha.
Well, the first thing you said is more of a he said, she said type situation where you both pointing the fingers at each other.
But correct. But you still don't have to reveal. Jay was the one who took. Only thing I have to say is I didn't steal anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Even if word is coming back saying, well, we were told or informed by whoever that you were the one, I didn't steal anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, let me get to Johnny's. I do want you to, but Johnny said, I've been in trouble and did not give up anyone. I did the time. You're dealing with weak moral individuals these days. Be by yourself. That reminds me of a saying, naughty by nature. I do my dirt all by my lonely. So what Johnny is saying is Johnny's manning up. He's holding himself accountable. He said, I've been in trouble. I did not give anyone up. I did the time. So he's holding himself accountable and saying, look, I knew what I was getting myself into. Something went down. I got in trouble for it. And it's I. Even if there were some other players involved, that ain't got nothing to do with them. Boom, I'm holding myself accountable for my actions. It's a fair take.
So, Mr. Think, I want to can I intervene for a second? If that's all right.
Please, please, please.
With your story, I find it very interesting because, Jay did something wrong, right? And then you said it was Jay who did it, right?
After I got accused of doing it.
Right. Now, peep this, chat. Mr. Think, you knew I did it, but why you didn't say nothing? Right? But you knew I did it, so you ain't gonna snitch because, hey, it didn't affect me. Now you accusing me of stealing, which you didn't, but Jay did it. But now it goes back on you. Is why you didn't say nothing. So you guys see how the tables can turn very quickly, and that's how my mind works, right? Maybe you guys are thinking another way, but my mind literally is working like, okay, but if you knew he did it, then why you didn't say nothing? So you guys can see how things can turn around very quickly. Is that snitching? I don't think it's snitching because, dude, you can lose your job, potentially have a record on your case for something that you did not do. That's not snitching. But it comes down to the part, why didn't you say something originally?
It's a good point.
Could that be snitching? So
bro, it's a good point. And Jay, Lewis, Perp stepped away for a little bit. There might be someone who says, well, if you lose your job, keep your mouth shut.
I know.
There might be someone says if charges are filed on you when you're innocent. I'm talking about you're innocent. You shut your mouth and you eat that. Someone just might feel that way.
The street don't help you pay bills at home. The street don't help you feed your family. Y'all here, maintaining street code, and you got people relying on you at home. I don't know.
Now keep in mind, once again, unlike this situation right here that Johnny's talking about, I'm not talking about if we were all in on it together. I'm talking about if you're innocent, if you're purely innocent, getting accused of something you did not do, are you supposed to keep your mouth shut? Now, watch this. I'm going to hit you with a little bit of legal stuff too, though, because you'll know it's called the Miranda rights. And one of the first things that you are actually informed of when you are taken into custody is you got the right to remain silent. It's a right of yours. You can, what they do in Austin Powers, zip it. You can zip it. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. So you got the right to shut your mouth. It is on you to provide what's called a burden of proof to, I am all types of innocent. You can have me on camera and everything. I am innocent until you prove me guilty in the court of law. I can sit there like this. And that's it. That is
now it. in this case here, while Adil Shan is the owner of Cool Kicks, we are talking about a brand in which, is being looked upon, like not only himself as the owner, but the brand integrity. So let's just say, you're trying to maintain brand integrity for your business. And let's say you had no idea as far as the products were stolen like that. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He had no idea that he had that much hot merchandise on him, as someone trying to maintain your brand. You really trying to follow street code like that? As a business owner?
And once again, it really, I don't think every situation is the same. It really depends on if you are involved or not involved. I think involvement plays a very big role in it, like a very big role. I think involvement
Like,
plays a very big role.
I'll put it to you like this, Mr. Thing. Let's say, because you said that you do moves sometimes, multiple moves for certain clients from time to time. So let's say you had a situation to where you happen to be driving by and you actually seen one of your clients' homes getting robbed. You speaking up or you staying quiet?
It really depends on the situation.
Mm.
All right, Jay mentioned this too. If it's a well-known big player, powerful player in the community who's known for doing dirt and grime, and I can cause harm to myself or my family because I'm not minding my own business. I'll be honest with you, man. It's not a one size fit all. It's really not. It's just really not. It's really not.
But let's say they're not that type of person though. And matter of fact, one day you get hit up by them and they go, man, Derek, I know I had you lined up to do a job for me, but unfortunately my house got robbed recently and this, that, and the third. And let's just say in the back of your mind, you're like, damn, I seen that shit going down too.
You're right. And all right. For most that don't know about me, I am former law enforcement, right? So I am actually the individual that will help the old lady getting robbed. I will step in and do something to help out and all that stuff. But I have training and experience in doing that, right? So I'm not trying to be a superhero. I definitely don't want to get hurt and killed on the streets. But my whole point is I actually am the person who will step up and help somebody out. You know what I mean? Depending on the situation. Don't get me wrong, man. If guns are pointed and people already got the drop on me, I'm gonna be like everybody else and get down on the ground. Actually, this is something that I used to always tell my friends when I was in law enforcement. If we're ever out and about and there's a robbery that's going down or something like that, don't be talking all loud. Do something, Derek. You're a cop. Don't do that. Don't chill. I'm gonna get down like everybody else. Especially if no one's getting hurt or whatever. I'm gonna give them my wallet, my phone, whatever, my chain, bracelet, watch, whatever just like everybody else, take it. Especially if they already got the drop on us. But I would have to kind of run to these situations and like literally have to tell people that because like, yo, chill. You don't always got to reveal information, man. Like just let it.
This ain't the movies.
Right. And that's the reason why. That is the core reason why I was saying like not every situation is the same. It's like playing chess. Like you have to move accordingly to whatever is happening at that exact moment, at that exact time. And sometimes windows and opportunities do present themselves, and you literally got to strike when the iron's hot. Other than that, you just got to play the situation out. So not every situation is the same. And trust me, I because I've been in situations, right? And I totally understand it, and I totally get it. I totally understand why people talk. I totally understand why people don't talk. I get it. I totally understand it. Which is why I think this conversation is so important to have, because it's not an umbrella or just one size fits all, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? But like I said, you can talk. You mentioned this earlier. If it's a kid or if it's an elderly person, I think more people will be a little bit in tune to speak up. And if it's on some grown man stuff and people are just doing some dirt, somebody might be a little bit more inclined to kind of be like, oh man.
What's crazy now is how many people snitch on themselves with all the cell phone videos. A lot of times they recording themselves doing this nonsense, bro. That'd be the wild part,
They all right. Mr. Ray said at the end of the day, you're trying to go home and keep your family safe. Correct. And that's when you have no involvement. So here goes one. Y'all know I am happy to acquire my Pine Green SB4s. I was the last of the Mohegans in order to get this kick. And I picked this kick up with y'all at Sneaker Con Fort Lauderdale. Right? I got the little tag that they had here. I picked up a size 13, $450. And I have they gave me a little air freshener of the company that sold me this kick, right? Now, hypotheticals. I got this shoe. I was so excited to get it. I even have it on video. I even shot a video of the people who had it in 9 yards. Police knock on my door. You have stolen merchandise inside your house. Of course, I go, oh no, I don't. I don't have it. You do. It's been tracked to this location. There was an air tag, whatever it is, RFID, whatever it is. I got stolen property inside my home, right? They reference these kicks. I go bring them the kicks and be like, nah, I made a purchase of these. I got them in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Sneaker Con. And the police say, what vendor did you get them from? And I go, oh, the name of the place is these are the guys. Here goes a phone number, and yeah, I actually got video. I was excited to get them. I got video of me. I got people's faces and everything. Now hold on? Let me before I finish the statement. They confiscate my sneakers because it's stolen property. So now I don't have the sneakers no more, but I paid $450 for said pair of sneakers. So my sneakers are gone now. So I give the police SneakerCon Fort Lauderdale. That's my location where I was at. Here goes the name of the booth that I was at. I got video. I was excited. I have video of it. Here goes the video of the guys that sold me the sneaker. Am I a snitch when I am now the victim? Along with the person who's originally pairs of shoes that saw their victim. So you got two victims, the person who the shoes belong to, and me, the person who purchased the stolen products that I did not know was stolen. So you got two victims here. Am I a snitch because I'm giving up this booth, the SneakerCon, and do you see where I'm going with this?
But see, the thing is you in that situation there, you're a You're a victim yourself because you were at an event to where, all those items are supposed to be legitimate, you know what I'm saying, owned by somebody. And you went in there thinking that you made a safe purchase of said items being at the event that you're at. So to find out that they're stolen items that they track back to you, like,
correct.
That's a totally different situation.
Correct. Victim,
now,
but am I snitching by giving up the people? I am a victim, but am I snitching by giving them up? That's my question.
Well, it's like what they say in Training Day. You want to go to jail, you want to go home. That's one man said. You want to go to jail, you want to go home. Like, you don't know them fools from nobody, bro.
I agree. But you can still snitch on somebody you don't know, right?
I don't even.
Tattletaling.
To me, I don't think that's okay. If they was out there looking for and you caught up and go, hey, yo, I bought some from them. If you willingly came through with that information and called them up like, hey, yeah, I know exactly who that is. This is what I bought from them. This is what I got. This is everything they had, blah, 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 blah. Versus they track stuff to you unknowing that they're even doing all this. To me, that's a totally different situation.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad willingly, right? So, all right. What is a witness, right? Verb, to see, right? An event, typically a crime or accident, take place. Have knowledge of an event or change from personal observation or experience. Now, here goes a little meaning of a witness. In law, a witness is someone who either voluntarily or under compulsion provides testimonial evidence, either oral or written, of what they know or claim to know. So when you mention the voluntary, so now we're talking about being a witness. Now in this particular case, when I told you that about the sneakers, and I showed y'all, y'all were there, y'all saw me make the purchase, I will be a victim. My product's gone. I didn't get a refund, so I was like, hey, take the sneakers, and if I reach out, watch this, because this can all get rectified. I can reach out to the company and be like, hey, apparently the sneakers you sold me were stolen. it got taken away from me. Can I get my money back? And they go, sorry, we didn't know. Sure. They gave me back my money, and we kind of washed that off. I said, all right, well, I'm gonna try to find me another pair of sneakers or whatever, you know. But in that case, I would still be considered a victim as well, you know. So now when we talk about witnesses, and once again, this is like a street code thing. Can a witness indirectly be a snitch? Once again, you're a witness. This does not involve you. You're not an informant. You're not involved in the crime or anything that took place, the accident, crime, or anything that took place. It has no relation, directly involvement to you.
So let's put it this way. If I was standing right next to you when you made this purchase from said seller, and I corroborated all the events that went down, I would be a witness. Because I'm saying, yes, I seen you buy from this person and they gave it to you, and you was buying in good faith that, you know, these Jones was legit and all that. So that means I'm a witness to the situation going down.
Right.
You being part of the transaction, you know, you're a victim.
Correct.
At that point.
Correct.
So anybody who was around when it went down, they'd be witnesses to the crime, essentially. To say, oh yeah, I saw him selling XYZ to this person in particular.
Yep.
Or to these individuals in particular.
So would we agree that in that particular case, being a witness would not deem you a snitch?
Yeah, because we're out somewhere, this stuff goes down, and you go, yo, I had my peoples with me too when this was all going down. You can ask them about the same thing. And then they go to corroborate the story. Well, they're witnesses to the crime that you were unknowingly involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate,
and let's just say the people you were with also made purchases from that. They victims too.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And so Nate says, oh, is that grenade? That'd be kind of cool if that's the way you're spelling it. He said everyone has a gray zone. So lawless. Because I do agree with that. It's not a one size, it's not a blanket umbrella type of situation. And I actually do agree with that. And watch this. I wouldn't necessarily fault someone, and I know this might sound weird, but I wouldn't fault someone if someone exercised their right of silence. Of Lewis, to your point, I was standing right there, and guess what? I ain't saying nothing. And if that's what someone wants to do, I mean, like, there's really nothing wrong with that. Someone might say that is morally or ethically incorrect, but it's like that you don't have to report anything. Like, you don't.
And then a lot of times people just don't want to implicate themselves as well, because they may be a little shaky as well. So I mean, that's another perspective of it.
So hold on, real right. Remember that card game a lot of people were playing? Do you all remember Monty? It was a 3-card Monty. They was doing. Matter of fact, some dudes got shot outside of the Philly event at Sneaker Town for that, and so that's why they said that if they see that going down anywhere else, like they're basically shutting it down right away. Because so one of the parts of that scam is that someone will go up there and show that you can actually win, and then it make you think like, oh, I could do this too. And then a bunch of people get involved, and now all of a sudden they losing. What a person you saw win, they in on the scam too. They getting the kickback from it, acting like that they got nothing to do with it. They just rolled up there, and all of a sudden they won. They say that's part of the whole scam that goes down. So there's situations like that too, where it's like, oh yeah, I just bought from them. Yeah, they're legit. Mind you, they in on the whole thing.
Correct.
Real quick,
yep.
Jay, I'm gonna let you speak, but I'm just laughing at John. He said, here's a good example. Somebody gave the Giants the Eagles game plan. What do you call that? I call that game plan gate.
That's what the Patriots were accused of when it was videotaping signals and all that other stuff. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Sig in the bill. Go ahead, Jay. My bad.
Facts.
Yeah, listen, like one thing we already know: scamming, scheming. This ain't new, bro. This isn't new. This stuff will continue to constantly happen, and as living in the era of, you know, the internet era, the social media era, not everybody, but there are people out there who are finding ways to try to get ahead, right? Get ahead on whether it's taken from someone or trying to figure out a way how can they do something, right, in order to get ahead. So this is always going to be around. The question is that how do we perceive things to be morally and ethically correct, right? Everybody got their own entire like concept. Some of us may agree, some of us may not totally agree, but we can all say is that part of it is because how we grown up. Some of us has made a turnaround when it comes to like our change in our circle, our mentality, right? But at the end of the day, part of it is our household. How do we grow up? Our neighborhoods, our family culture, our values. What does that look like? Like some people say, hey bro, I ain't got no problem wearing no fake stuff. I could care less what you think about me. And honestly, I ain't mad at you. I'm not. Because it's your money. It's your body. It's your style. I'm not, listen, I ain't knocking you. Right? Nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, it's all about, can you wake up in the morning and can you go to sleep with not thinking about whatever you have done? And I'm even saying making the right decisions, y'all. I'm not even saying someone doing something illegal. I'm just saying making the right choice, the right decision, because at the end of the day, there is a gray line. I agree with you, Grenade. There's a gray line. And you kind of like, but if I do this, I don't. And sometimes when you make that hard decision, even if it's the right decision, that right decision can cost you or someone else something. Do you guys understand what I mean by that?
I get it.
Hard choices and those hard decisions, and at the end of the day, you have to live with that decision, even if you like, man, I don't want to do this, but I have to.
Right.
And that can be a huge burden on someone. You know?
That is hard facts. I highlighted a comment here from Joel Ocampo in the build. What up, fam? My bad. I'm a little behind on the comments. I'm just kind of going backwards now. He said, hello. So I work in asset protection and hearing the news. Unfortunately, this may be a case of organized retail crime, ORC, which is spreading rapidly throughout the country. Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I see this in Colorado. In our grocery stores, they now have bars set up to where, you know, with the flapping doors, but there's bars like set up in grocery stores to where they're trying to limit, you know, how the ease of entering and exiting a store now. Like people are going into even grocery stores. Of course, they've been doing it in like Fendi and Louis Vuitton and, you know, all of the expensive places, the Apple store, and just smashing and grabbing, right? The smash and grab, right? They did it to a couple of shoe stores. You remember they were using their cars back up into a door, you know, breaking through the front door and just, you know, smash and grab. But even in the grocery stores, man, people are walking inside of Burlingtons and the Rosses and TJ Maxx's, whatever. You know, they walking in there in droves, 30, 40 people, like flash mobs. Ain't nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean, man? They'll walk in there and grab a handful of stuff. Some even have carts, and they running out the door with carts. Wilding. So this is something. This is a huge issue, you know, within like the asset protection, man. They've been busy.
Look at Walgreens. Remember in California when a lot of the California Walgreens stores were just getting mobbed?
Yeah, and they started putting stuff in cases now.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they put the medicines and stuff there. They put in like the electronics. They got them behind cases now because of you, right?
Correct. Because they were saying something at California law, like, "Hey, man, like if they take it, just take it, leave them alone. Don't do anything." Mm-hmm. And I don't know the repercussions that happened after that, but I haven't heard or seen any news lately about California and Walgreens when it comes to people just just taking everything and anything out of the store. I haven't heard about that in a while, so I'm not sure if it's still a thing.
Hey Joel, if you're still tapped in, I want you to speak on this because I do know this from a legal standpoint. When it comes to security, even asset protection, right? It's different. It's different for police officers. But when it comes to security, I'll give you a hypothetical. Let's say you're in Home Depot, and you're a security guard. We're all security guards. Somebody has product inside of a cart, or they got it in the hand. They walk past what's called the POS. That's called point of sale, which means the cash registers. So they walk past the cash registers, or they walk past the self checkout, and they breach the doors, exiting the building. From that point forward, if you decide to give chase to them, so you go, hey, get over here, and you chase them and they run. If that person runs into the parking lot and gets hit by a car while they're fleeing with the stolen product, Home Depot can get sued because now I decided to chase them out of the building and they get hit by a car because they're running with stolen product. There can be a lawsuit on that Home Depot and myself and the security company that I work for or whatever, because we gave chase to the suspect. Even though they were stealing, the lawsuits can still fly onto said entity.
So stupid.
It's interesting you say that, Mr. Think, because we know there's some states to where if you try to defend your home from being robbed, you as the homeowner can get in trouble for defending your home. If the said robber gets hurt and they can turn around and sue.
Yes, let me speak on that.
Facts.
Colorado, right? We have, that's called the Make My Day law, just like Clint Eastwood. It's called Make My Day. It's the Make My Day law, right? So if someone breaks into your home, right, and you're sleeping, you wake up, you hear some noise or whatever the case is, you go downstairs, ranch, you open your door, whatever it is, and you see a person fleeing. They got my Xbox in their hands, and they're running out of my garage, out of the door, out the patio, out the window they came in, whatever, and they're fleeing. The Make My Day law does not cover you to pause, because I don't like the way I said it in my head, to pop this person in their back as they're fleeing with said items. Pause. You can't just like open fire because someone is illegally in your home. It's a burglary. They have the product. They're fleeing with product. It can be a pair of sneakers, whatever. It don't matter what it is. They can be fleeing. But if they are fleeing, it's called a fleeing suspect or a fleeing felon. You cannot just open fire on them because you have an intruder inside your home. That does not cover in the Make My Day law. You would have to articulate why you decided to use deadly physical force, or any force for that matter, but you would have to articulate. Now, if the person, same situation, they got the Xbox in their hand and they pull out a knife and they turn around towards you and come towards you, you're golden. That's called a good shoot. You're good. You're good. They came after me with a weapon. I saw the weapon. I was armed. I handled business. I was, fear for my life. You articulate all that stuff, and I'm telling you, you're golden. But to your point, if they're just fleeing, nah, man, they had my high 85 braids in their hand. I'm sure they did. You can't just shoot them in the back.
And you know what? That's the dumbest thing, because if you in my crib and you still in my crib, I don't care if you trying to exit my crib. You ain't getting out this mug. Now, if you open up the door and you out, unfortunately, as dumb as it is, as dumb as it sounds at these laws, that's sad, right? And it's really sad to say, hey, well, as you're in security, whatever the case may be, and you're chasing down someone who stole something, they get hit by a car, now the company can get sued. It's absolutely dumb, stupid. So what you're doing is you're saying it's okay to steal. It's okay. If you're back in some of these states, if someone's back is turned in your house and someone, does something, you can go to jail for that because they were trying to flee your place. Some states would tell you, well, if they're still in, handle your business. I don't care if you front, back, side, whatever the case may be. They still in your property. Handle that business. They back was turned. You can't do it. They even broke in your house. So it's okay this is where the stupidity-ness comes from. And some people will say, and I'm somewhat in agreement, but generally not, but I get it. When there's no work out there, people gonna go find some work. Legal or illegal, people gonna go find some work. And the sad thing is, huh?
Ohio said, Jay, they steal your steel cans. They gonna meet some kind of a steal, ain't they?
Hey.
Ohio said it.
Hey, listen. I hope not, bro. I hope not, my guy. I hope not. You know what I'm saying? I hope not, my guy. But you know what I'm saying? But then, chat, it goes back to saying this. That's a hard decision. Because if you got a family, you don't know what the heck that person who's in your crib, even if they trying to flee, you got family inside of that crib. And I'm going to speak as a man. As a man, your job is to protect.
All day. 100%.
What they trying to steal my kid?
So you, Mr. Think, hey, where your kicks? You see what I'm saying? I'm not telling chat. I'm not telling you guys what and what not to do. I'm just putting it on your brain. I'm putting it on your mind. As a man, our job is to protect. I don't care if you ain't got no butter knife in my damn crib. You in my crib. You shouldn't be here.
Now, Jay, let me clarify. Let me clarify. When I was referring to the Make My Day law in particular, I was really just kind of talking about using deadly physical force on a person. That don't mean you can't tackle them. That don't mean that you can't fight them and stuff like that. I was really referring to like the deadly physical force. You know, like if someone is fleeing your house, they don't belong there. They're fleeing. And you have a machete, you got a baseball bat, and you behind them, you clock them in the back of the head, bing.
Hello.
And that person dies. Unfortunately, you can get in trouble for that. That's I'm talking about that in particular. The protection part, you're spot on. You have every right to.
Bing bong.
Yeah.
You see, but
bing
that's
bong,
my point.
You can get in trouble for that.
But that's my point. They're still in your crib, even though I get it. Hey, they stepped out of your crib. Some people would tell you, do certain things, right? Pull them back in. But if they out your crib, I get it. But you in my crib, yo. And I'm getting passionate about this because you in my crib.
But Jay,
batters up, God damn it.
You got skills though. like you'll be able to handle this person. I know you can. You know what I mean? I was just particularly talking about you have every right to defend, your property, your family, yourself, everything. I was talking about specifically with just the use of deadly physical force in particular. I just kind of wanted to make that distinction.
So it's funny though, because there's a situation now, I think it's still going on, where these 3 teenagers broke into this old guy's house, and the man fired a gun on him, and I think one of them died and the others got injured, and the families are trying to sue the old man for killing the son, even though they broke into his crib. He's an old guy. Like, what's he supposed to do? He's supposed to just fist fight these 3 young boys? Hell nah.
And as messed up as it sounds, this is what you have to face. Even being a concealed carry holder, these are kind of like the situations that you have to be able to articulate. If you happen to get into a situation, you really have to articulate why you did what you did, why you decided to use deadly physical force. You really have to articulate that. Let me put it to you this way. To this old man, right? It would be better. I'm not saying he has to take a hit. I'm not saying that, but it would be better if he was able to articulate just that. Look, I'm 70 years old. I'm 60 years old. These guys are definitely stronger, quicker, faster, and everything. Look at my eye. I got 19 stitches. One of them hit me with something. I don't know if it was a fist or an object. I was dazed. I was armed, and I really felt like if I lost consciousness, they'll take my firearm and cause harm to me and my family. So yes, I opened fire because I already took a blow to the head. But trust me, if you can articulate stuff like that, you're golden. Trust me.
So Mr. Think,
You're good.
This is why Mark Sanchez is in trouble now. I don't know if you heard about this situation with Mark Sanchez, the ex-football player,
Hmm.
where he was basically he got physical with the old dude. Old dude stabbed him a few times trying to defend himself. And based on the surveillance video, they saw the way he was coming at my man trying to make his deliveries or whatever, all because, you know, Mark Sanchez was drunk, apparently, trying to tell the guy he's not allowed to park in this certain place as if it's his duty to be doing that anyhow. You know what I'm saying? Dude, and apparently the dude suffered some injuries from Mark Sanchez coming at him.
Yeah, he had a huge laceration on the side of his face that was probably
Yeah.
about 6 inches long. Yeah. Pause.
Nope. Nope. I did want to say this though before I had to go here in a few minutes, and this is concerning, you know, all these crackdowns that are going on right now as far as the early pairs and stuff like that. Because we've seen Nike's been suing a lot of people for a lot of different things. One of the things that we touch on from time to time that we don't necessarily think about is like on platforms, particularly like TikTok, the amount of people that quote unquote promote the fake pairs. What a lot of people don't know about is a lot of times these fake pair companies give these people purchase codes, and when they're advertising on TikTok, if the purchase code is used, that person that was advertising on TikTok, they get a kickback for someone coming through making those purchases. So essentially, they are promoting the falsified merchandise, right? I think that's
Counterfeit.
going to be. I think that's going to be the next set of people Nike starts to come after, or a lot of these people start to come after, is the people that are on these platforms promoting them for these counterfeit companies. Because essentially you are advertising counterfeit goods. You know what I'm saying? And even though you don't particularly come out and say you got them from XYZ, if you look in the comments, a lot of times they're telling people where they got them from or the WhatsApp number they can contact for said product. And a lot of these counterfeit companies and stuff like that, they on IG, they on TikTok too, making deals with these people. So I feel like that's going to be the next set of people eventually they'll get to.
The
Hey, what you
possibility
say?
is
Where your
definitely
kicks? My bad. My bad.
there. No, go ahead, Jay. You good.
Hey, what you say? Where your kicks? Be careful when you see that plus sign. That first number. That first
Facts.
symbol started with a plus sign.
Facts.
What's
Facts.
at me?
Listen, bro, the thing is it's interesting because like I get messages all the time that come up from them and go, hey, we have said product. If you would do a review for us and this, that, and the third, and people buy from you, we'll give you a little bit of money for each one that they buy and stuff like that. I get hit all the time on IG about this shit.
Yeah, same.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's some people out there who do it.
Hard facts. Hard facts. How much time you got left?
I probably got about like 5 minutes.
I bet. Shout out to Manny because Manny, I agree with this, man, like 1,000%. 1,000%. He said, "Fact, life is more valuable than property." I have to tell that to these kids, man, because I understand how, image and reputation and all that. I understand how valuable that is to to an individual. But I like to tell them like this, especially when I'm talking to the younger generation, because you don't want to be. It can be embarrassing, all that stuff. I tell it to them like this. I have a BMW, right? My car's old, by the way, so this is not a brag. I have a BMW. If somebody was to come up and carjack me, right, and they got the drop on me, and they're like, "Give me your car," I'll give them my car. if somebody was to come up to me and say, "Give me your Jordans," I'll give them my Jordans. And this is like my whole mindset behind it. I know how to acquire said things. If I got it once, I can get it again. I have the means to acquire it. That's kind of like my whole argument. There's no need for me to lose my life over a pair of sneakers when I can just simply buy another pair of sneakers. That even means that if I'm standing in line, for a sneaker release, I know we don't really do this anymore, but then again, we kind of do, because Jay just went to he stood in line for his Tokyos. But if I'm standing in line and somebody decides to cut the line and they would, are you willing to get stabbed over a pair of sneakers? Look, man, I got money. I'll get on GOAT, StockX, wherever I Flight Club, or I'll order me a pair of sneakers in order to save, the drama. If that makes sense. Like your life is way more valuable than any type of property. I agree with that 100%, man.
Facts.
You can always get property comes and goes, man. So does money. That stuff comes and goes like the wind. Literally like the wind. And I know it's harder for the younger people to understand that because they work so hard to get it. I'm not saying we don't, but I would look like an absolute fool if y'all heard I got hurt over a pair of sneakers, and then you're like, but don't he got mad kicks? Well, why is he getting into a shootout over a pair of sneakers? It sounds silly to me. That even sounds silly.
Yep. What's crazy though is, don't tell that to people in Texas though, because in Texas, they said if you come home and you see somebody robbing, you allowed to run in the house, and if they leaving, you allowed to go chase down them fools too. Texas is a whole different situation.
But are you allowed to use deadly physical force?
Bro.
Yeah, every state's different.
Texas is so different, bro.
Yeah, Wild West. Every state's
Wild West in Texas. When it comes to your property and your house and stuff, man, it's way different in Texas, bro. Way different in Texas.
Nah, that's fair. AQ. Q said, this is good. I have my concealed weapons permit, and there's a lot I don't know about the laws. I would definitely brush up on the laws in the city and the county that you live in, because it's definitely different depending on where you at. But I can kind of tell you, just in a generalization, kind of like no matter where you at, if you decide to use deadly physical force, you're definitely going to have to articulate why. And I can tell you why some people get in trouble. I'm gonna flat out say it. Being big and being black, that's not good enough. Well, he was 6'3" and he was a black guy. That's not good enough. You have to articulate why you use deadly physical. Articulation is key. It's something that they teach us in law enforcement. Articulation is important. It's very important. You have to be able to articulate why you decided to do what you did. A lot of people don't really know this, but vehicles are a weapon. It can be used as a weapon. So if you can articulate why you decided to shoot somebody driving a car in your direction while they're speeding towards you, if you can articulate, them using deadly physical force on you, and you counteracted it back with deadly physical force, like I said, you'll be golden. You'll be good. I can't tell you what's going to happen in court, but that articulation is important.
And then the other part of that is, for all the CCL holders out there, concealed carry license holders, know much to your Mr. Think Impossible's point, know the rules of your state, but more importantly, know the rules of the neighboring states around you as well, because I guarantee you they're not all the same. And if for a lot of you all that are in bordering states, that's going to be very important, because certain things you can do in your state, you may not necessarily be able to do in the next state over.
Facts.
Well, on top of that too, for those of y'all that don't know, there is concealed carry insurance out there you can have too. Because I have the one in particular, and if you're a member, all of their defense policies are backed by $1 million basically, and they tell you, like, if you have to use your weapon, they should be the first people you call, not to speak to law enforcement first. We'll call them first and let them know, and they will find a lawyer local to you who handles those type of cases to already be there essentially for a situation like that goes down.
Good information. Good info. Ohio said, I feel like a lot of people get in trouble because after they incapacitate the attacker, the offender continues to the defense after the attacker is down. That is very easy to do. It's very easy to keep going. In law enforcement, they call that's called being in custody. So whenever someone is technically in custody, that does not mean that they are in jail. It means that handcuffs and or shackles have been placed on the suspect, and that's the definition of what in custody means. And that's very hard. What Ohio just mentioned, when I tell you it's very hard to do, I came up with something. I call it the switch. You need to be able to have a switch, just like how you can switch on a light on and off. You need to be able to, like, right now we're calm, we're talking, there's no emergency going on, everybody's peaceful in the whole 9 yards. Right now, everything's calm, and then boom, there's an emergency. It can be a fire, there's an explosion, and now you're elevated, and you just went from green to red. Boom, you're on high alert, you're taking action, boom, boom, boom. And then after everyone's out of the building or whatever the case is, you bring it back down. After the person's in custody, you bring it back down, right? And you got to flip that switch. 0 to 100, from 100 back to 0. 0 to 100, and 100 to 100 to back to 0. And it's not easy to do. Ohio, that is a very good point.
Yeah, and
to
your point, Mr. Think, listen, a lot of people don't stop to think about this, right? I think Ohio just say, yeah, the adrenaline is no joke. Right, when you're put in situations that put you under duress, elevated heart rate, adrenaline spikes, your heart, you start sweating, your palms, your hands are shaky. Those are scenarios that you cannot train for just going to the range. You have to be put in real life, urban or tactical situations in order to help you regulate those emotions and that flight or fight response. Okay, so a lot of you all that say, oh, yeah, I'll just pull a gun out, but it's not that simple. And Mr. Think Impossible will absolutely tell you, it's not that simple. So, going to the range, understanding your firearm, your sidearm, it's very important, obviously, right? How to field strip it, how to break it down, put it. Again, for those of you all who have the opportunity, take a firearms tactical course, right? What it'll do is it'll give you a taste of what it's like to operate your firearm under duress. In certain cases, extreme duress. So just think about that. Use that for an option. Those people out there in South Carolina, there are a ton of them out there. Ohio as well. Just something to think about in the back of your mind. There's going to be a lot of things that happen that are not flip switch in your head when it comes to that. And a lot of people, they tend to blank out as well. So you can't necessarily remember what you did in certain aspects of that movement.
Here's something that...
Real quick, Jay, because then I got to go.
Okay.
Mr. Think, I put it, United States Concealed Carry Association.
Okay.
That's the name of the one I have. There's another big one too, but I can't remember the name, but that's the one that I particularly have, the USCCA.
Good looks for sharing that.
So, other than that, chat, appreciate y'all. Keep rocking out with my guys here doing the live stream. You know what I'm saying? And catch us tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, One Pair at a Time podcast channel, man. Be there, be square. I'm out.
Good looks, Lou.
Peace. Have a good one, brother.
So, for me, y'all, Purple, Hayes, and Mr. Think I've already hit on it, but I'm going to say it just directly. I do believe in protecting yourself, and as a man, protecting my family before protecting myself. But one thing I would definitely highly stress is that I hope no one has to ever get into a situation, any situation that may cause harm or anything to anybody. I definitely want to say that. But for those who may have a little bit of hot temper, it's really best that for those type of people like that, because again, the adrenaline rush, everything, you just like upset. You have to really sit back and kind of think like, okay, how can I be a better person to lower my adrenaline rush feel, right? How can I sit back and really kind of get back in that time frame and say, okay, enough is enough. I don't need to do any more. I think that's something that everybody should really look at before going ahead and starting to purchase a firearm, because you can get locked up for doing too much, right? When maybe you only needed to do one thing and now you did six things, and that's an overkill. So you have to be able to,
Literally.
you know what I'm saying? You understand, even if it happened in your crib and you're in the right, but it's like, why did you need to do this much? Right? So with that being said, like, we all have to like look at ourselves before becoming an owner of a firearm and really say, hey, I need to figure out how to be a little bit more calmer during high stress situations. And Purple Haze has already said that, hey man, take a course to really understand how does your equipment operate? How do you clean it properly? How do you store it properly? And if something happens, which God forbids, which I never hope it happens to anybody, especially y'all, chat, that you know how to turn off that adrenaline and say, okay, it's done. Because you could be 100% in the right, but if you overly do something, now you're looking at a whole nother issue. Even if you were absolutely in the right and you followed the laws, it's because you should have stopped at this moment.
Facts.
So it's very imperative
You're absolutely right.
that you understand not only your federal law, your state law, county.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think,
municipalities.
don't think counties are all the same. I'm telling you,
Yep.
if you can understand all three of those laws,
Yep.
federal, state, and county, you're going to give yourself the best opportunity if something ever occurs. So be very informative. Make sure you keep yourself up to date, because information changes all the time. I'm talking about, you said, well, yeah, I read this 6 months ago. Well, 6 months ago was in the past. They changed that joint. So you have to keep yourself current on up-to-date information.
Let me share something with you guys since we're talking about this. Number one, I'm gonna crack a joke, so I'll just flat out tell you, when Perp mentioned, the situations change, when you are in these super tense situations. There's a philosopher, his name is Eminem, and he said his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. All right, but in all seriousness, he's absolutely correct. There are certain changes to our body that we honestly just cannot just help. Those are called involuntary actions. When your heart is beating at a certain rate, you start to lose like fine motor skills. There's a lot of things that you might experience a change within your own body that you've never felt before. You're right. This even comes down to kind of like the fight or flight type of situation. You might be trying to hold something and you're like, guys, I had my cell phone in my hand and I couldn't even unlock my screen. It was like my finger wasn't even working properly. I couldn't even unlock my screen to dial 911. I was trying, and I don't know, my hands wasn't working. And that is actually natural. It's normal. That can happen. I don't get to do this too much unless I go to an outdoor range, from like out here in Colorado. So, I wouldn't be able to do this indoor. However, when I used to go to the range a lot, to Perp's point, to Jay's point as well, no lie, I'll tell you no lie. Q, I used to lay on my back. Pause. I used to lay on my back and shoot at a target with my offhand from the ground, shooting up. I would get in a prone position. I would get down on one knee. I would put myself in the most awkward positions how to rack my firearm using my boot on my shoe. Do you see what I'm saying? Because my arm might be down. My dominant arm might be down. I might not be able to use it. So I used to intentionally do certain things to put myself in some of the weirdest, shooting from the hip fires, you name it. I would do some of the most awkward stuff in order to just try to prepare myself as much as possible. But to Perp's point, a piece of paper does not return any rounds back at you.
Nope. Nah, Mr. Thinking, that's actually that's pretty funny you mentioned that, because in certain instances, you know, there are drills that will take you through that, as far in different tactical courses, depending on what state you're in. You know, how to, you know, how to operate under those higher forms of stress, but more importantly, hip fire drills and things like that. I mean, those things are absolutely real, and I think they're very necessary, especially in an urban environment. You know, you're going to have multiple things that you can use or utilize for cover, you know, but there was a case up here probably about 3 or 4 years ago where this, I think this guy was a retired fireman, I believe. He was in a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and these 4 guys ran up to him trying to carjack him. And, you know, he pulled out his firearm. He was a CCL holder. And he returned fire. Unfortunately, he lost his life. But looking at the video that went live, I'll see if I can find it and drop it in the chat. You know, he did not take full advantage of his cover, you know, within an urban environment, right? There are a few things that he could have done that probably would have had him here today. But again, being trained on a firearm is a lot different than being able to fully utilize your firearm and your surroundings, you know, within that area of whatever's going down, because that's just as important if you're not able to utilize the cover around you for your surroundings. It's just key. It's paramount.
You know what? I just want to say this, chat. I'm not condoning anything. All right, and nor is anybody on the panel. I believe I'm safe to say that. But I do want to say, man, like, I am not for violence, because violence only causes more violence. And if we just as people can just communicate effectively a little bit more better with each other, if we can kind of understand something, you know, we can have less issues, right? And so at the end of the day, I just feel like you got to do what you got to do. I'm a strong believer in that. But I just think violence is just stupid, because it's just going to cause more issues later on down the line. And so as humans evolve, we're supposed to be getting smarter. I don't necessarily know if that's really the case. All right. I just don't know if that, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I just don't know if that's necessarily the case. And I do definitely mean that with like 100%, like no apology. I don't apologetically feel any sorrow with me saying that. The best thing I can just tell everybody is like, you know, Mr. Think started off like, hey, see, listen, what is a snitch? What's going on? Because not only just for the sneaker community, but just like all the stuff that goes on outside factors of just life without like anything. Because, you know, someone's trying to take something from you. And and Mr. Think said it earlier. Hey, if I'm getting robbed, man, y'all can have it, bro. Like, listen, y'all can have it, bro. I'm not even trying to be a hero. Y'all can have it. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Just leave me alone. Life is precious. And so with that being said, with life being precious, man, like just enjoy every second that we have. Enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, man, like, don't let nobody take your joy from you. Like when someone tries to take your joy from you and you laugh and you still stand your ground like you're supposed to, you ain't bowing down, you ain't You ain't bowing down now, but you just like, okay, you really just don't know, okay. And just laugh it off, but just make sure you keep a tight memory in your memoir. Who's really there for you and who's not. And then you'll definitely see a whole entire different scope when the picture starts to really coming together. That canvas is definitely gonna have a lot of highlighted colors on it. And I'm telling you right now, when you get away from the sugar booger, the ooga mooga dooga, and you just go ahead and sit back and you can see the foolery over here, you just go over there. I guarantee you, man, you'll be a much happier place, and you can see the sugar booger from far away.
I agree with that, Jay. I definitely agree with that. Love is actually very important, man. Love is definitely needed to be put into the mix amongst everything. Love is very important. We need to be a little bit more caring, a little bit more kinder and loving, and the whole 9 yards. This tough conversation, and these are tough conversations to have. This tough conversation is definitely needed, because unfortunately, there's kind of like a time and place where, look, there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. That's just the way it works, and understanding the time can definitely, give you an advantage. Where your kick said, who got there strategically placed around the house like John Wick. That is hilarious. I started laughing when I saw that because yes, there are certain places throughout my house where I have baseball bats and knives and all types of stuff, and I know exactly where it's at, depending on what room I'm in. So that is hilarious, actually. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I wanted to talk about something real quick. I don't know how much more time you guys got, Jay and Perp. So thanks for tapping in, number one. I appreciate y'all. I wanted to let me find this one right here. Did you all see the video where the officer sucker punched a man, and when the man came at him, he killed the man? Yes, that happened out here in Aurora, Colorado. It's a big thing. Where I park my moving trucks at, it probably happened about 5 minutes away from where I park the trucks at. And I'm very much so aware of the situation. Obviously, it's an investigation that's currently going on. There's been quite a few protests and stuff like that. I'll flat out say it. And this isn't me speaking from my butt. This is me speaking from a former Denver police officer. That officer did not have to shoot this guy in that situation. He just didn't. I don't think it was a good shoot. I don't know how the investigation is going to turn out for the officer, whether he's going to be found criminally, in charges or whatever. This is all pending. But given the situation, and I'm telling you from experience, he didn't have to shoot that guy, man. He really didn't. I showed a video on it. I don't think it was a good shoot.
You know what, Mr. Thing, I don't want to speak on something I don't know, but I would like to say this. There's been other instances where force, that type of force didn't have to be used by those in the law enforcement. But for those who have done it and it didn't need it to happen, they were scared.
They were scared. Jay, but I want you to finish.
They were scared, right? Like I said, I can't speak on that particular situation because I don't know, but I can tell you Aurora, Colorado is a very, very nice area. So I don't know what happened between this particular situation, but I've always said, like, hey, I really always thought, like, if you're gonna like be in enforcement, the law enforcement, I think those officers should live in a certain amount of radius where they police at.
Why do you say that, Jay?
Because so they can get to really know that neighborhood. They can really get to know that culture, because every neighborhood has a different culture.
Yeah, community policing is the term for it.
right? Every neighborhood has a different type of culture. And so when you have individuals, right, who've never lived in certain areas, they're fearful because they have to work in certain areas. And now that they work in these areas, they're on high alert because they're not used to these type of individuals. They're not used to this culture. They assume this whole entire area is jacked up and can't look and determine who's what and what's what. And that's just the facts. That's just the facts. You know, we need officers. We need people to police the areas to make sure kids can go to school without being harmed. You know, adults don't have to get robbed. Like we need that, but we need people who live in those communities or not far away. Not necessarily saying they have to be exactly within an area, but because if you don't know the culture, if you don't know those people, now they got such and such over here, and they came from this type of area, and they like, oh my gosh, there's a clouded area over here. They on high alert, bro. They're on high alert, and they should not be policing where they don't live at, because they don't know nothing about the culture.
Jay, when I tell you that alone is one of my main arguments that I make whenever I talk to people about these tough situations. Oh my gosh, you don't understand. Well, you understand. Some people don't understand how imperative, like how imperative that is. I can tell y'all examples. I can tell y'all real life examples on. I've seen the way that some officers would interact with. I'm talking about with victims. The way that officers would interact with victims, and I would interject. I would come between this officer and the victim, and tell this officer, "Hey, let me go ahead and take this call. Just back me. If I need something, I'll let you know." I'll give you an example. Now, I'm gonna speak very freely, but you know, for those that's tapped in, y'all know how I am. Let's say your car gets stolen. A black person's car gets stolen. Right? Their car is gone. They dial 911 to report this issue. Police comes on site. Right? Now, I'm gonna give you the example of the victim. This is the person whose car is stolen. This is the person who called 911. Man, they just stole my car. I need y'all to shut down I-70. I need y'all to put up a perimeter. Man, my car's gone. I ran in for 1 minute. So clearly this person is frustrated and mad and upset because someone stole their car. Now here comes a police officer who's looking at the victim. And the first word out of this police officer's mouth is, "Sir, calm down. Show me your hands." It's the first word out of this officer's mouth. I look over at the officer like this. You know how Canelo took that hit?
Yeah.
I look over at the officer like this. And I'm like, yo, let me handle it. The victim is now looking at the officer kind of like, word? For real? And I look over at the victim and I go, I'm listening, proceed. So he's finishing telling his story, right? But watch this. This is to your point, Jay. This is to your point. And it ain't only blacks, right? Italians do it, Hispanics do it. We talk with our hands, man. Whenever we're describing something, we're hand talkers. You would think we know sign language. You know what I mean? Yo, Kobe had the ball. He juked him, pulled back, fade away. We're very expressive people. And this officer who happens to be working in a predominantly black community, which is called Park Hill, which is a bad side of town out here. He's like a fish out of the water. He doesn't understand where he's working at. He doesn't understand the people within the community that he's assigned to. So it puts, and you're right, the officer is scared. Meanwhile, this is the person who called 911. This is the person who's missing their property. This is the victim. This is the person who is in need. And that officer was talking to this person perceiving them as a threat. Man, that is so dangerous. That is so dangerous. I crack a little joke. This is kind of like a trick question. This is a trick question. But I used to crack a little joke, and I would ask people, with me being from Southside Jamaica, Queens, man, and I grew up in a middle family home, right? I grew up in a middle family home and all that stuff. I went to private schools. However, I lived in the hood. So, you know, I didn't grow up in some gated community to where it was safely guarded. I mean, this is, within the circle of middle class homes surrounded by hood. So I asked this trick question: where would y'all think I'm more comfortable working? Do you think I'm more comfortable working in the hood, or do you think I'm more comfortable working in Cherry Creek, where you got all the Maybachs and McLarens and Ferraris and all that stuff? Where do you think I'm more comfortable working?
I'll be honest with you. For me, it would be, where you grew up.
What about you, Perp?
I have more of a hybrid approach. I think, given that you were kind of like on this island, right, in the middle of the hood, when you think about it, right, you were exposed to both. You saw how that middle class upbringing was versus how it really was in the trenches. So, I mean, you're really able to operate, move between both worlds, to be honest with you. But primarily, you're comfortable with what you witness every day when you walk back and forth to school.
I would say all the time. When we got out the police academy, and depending on how high your scores were, they were letting people pick what district that they want to go to, and the people who had the highest scores, they're guaranteed to get their selection. And then for everybody else, they were like, just whatever your preference is. That'll mean that you're gonna get your preference, or whatever the case is. But you had a preference. So when people were asking me what my preference was, I was like, what's the worst side of town? I want to work the worst side of town. Whatever the worst side is, that's where I want to be. And people were looking at me like, that is insane. And I was like, what? Like, that's what I'm used to.
They got to know where you grew up.
That's normal for me. Like, why wouldn't I want to be around my own people? like flat out. Like, I actually don't even understand why I wouldn't want to be. Oh man. One time, District 3. So District 3 was a side of town out here that's called Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek is where you have all of the judges and the doctors and lawyers, all of the CEOs. It's a very nice side of town, whatever. Multi-million dollar homes. Even me having a moving company, I do a lot of moves out there. I be having like a lot of upscale clients and all that good stuff. Well, I was working Cherry Creek out in Denver, and I was bored. I was bored. Right? Well, no crime going on out there, so I was bored. So I decided to do traffic, right? So I stopped this guy driving his little convertible Mercedes-Benz or whatever the case is. He had a taillight out. I was bored, so I figured I'd do some traffic. As soon as I pull this guy over, I'm talking about pull him over, and I'm like, license, registration, proof of insurance. I'm Officer Saunders with the Denver Police Department. They turned around and was like, do you have any idea who you're talking to? It was the first words out of his mouth. So I was like, I'm about to find out. License, registration, proof of insurance. So he proceeds to go on. I know the chief of police. And I was like, yeah, so do I. License, registration, and proof of insurance. So he pulls out his cell phone, and of course he's making his phone calls or whatever the case is. He's like, I want a sergeant. I'll call your supervisor. I want a sergeant here. And I was like, license, registration, proof of insurance. Right? So he gives me his stuff. Ooh, nope. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He refused to identify himself. So I told him, I was like, all right, well, turn your vehicle off, because at this point, if you are refusing to identify yourself, I'm going to remove you from your car, right? So he's sitting there, and he has a passenger in the front too. He has a woman sitting in the front there with him or whatever. So this guy refused to identify himself, and I extracted him from his convertible. That's what I did. I extracted him from his convertible. Now I got him on the ground, and I placed him in custody. I slapped some handcuffs on him. This is only because I'm trying to identify who this person is. Of course, a sergeant comes out, and this dude ended up being some doctor, some high-profile doctor in the area. Of course, he didn't get a ticket. Of course, he didn't write a complaint to me, to Internal Affairs, about me snatching him out of his car. Those are already of courses. But he was entitled, and that's the only point that I was trying to make. I don't like working, around people like that, in communities like that. I'm not comfortable around stuff because I didn't grow up in said environments, right? I'm using that as an example because you would think that, oh man, I mean, that's a nice cush job and you're getting paid good money and you don't got to do much work. I mean, yeah, put somebody who grew up in that area to deal with those type of people. I'm not fit to deal with those type of people. I'm not gonna say I'm not fit. I can deal with those type of people, but what I'm trying to say is I don't have the same level of patience as somebody who grew up around that in order to handle that type of situation. I flat out tell you that. Of course, I was fit to work anywhere, but nah, man, I want to be around my own. I want to be in an environment, so I'm more comfortable actually in the worst environment. Now, for where I live at out here in Colorado, do I live in the hood? Do I live in Park Hill? No. But that wasn't the point that I was trying to make. When it came to working, I wanted to work in those environments because I understood the people that were there. Policing where you work and live at, I think is actually very good because you're comfortable. Man. And I think that's why a lot of issues go down when it comes to law enforcement. So when it comes to this video in particular, just to kind of sum it up, if I can give you all a quick summary, I believe the guy was drinking and driving. Police went to go pull him over. He tries to flee from the police and he wrecks. He hits a couple of cars in the process, right? The driver of the vehicle, he did have a firearm. Apparently he did have a firearm, and he took his firearm and he threw it, literally just threw it away from his car. He threw it away into the grass, like a grassed area. The officer, I kind of don't know why, but officer already had firearm in hand during his entire interaction with this guy. I'm talking about from extracting him out of the vehicle, kind of like pulling him out of the vehicle. The cop already had gun in hand. And let me tell you all this. Well, let me finish the story. He gets the guy out. The cop made an attempt, I don't know why, but he made an attempt to kind of like tackle the dude. The guy kind of slipped or whatever, and the cop fell on the floor, all and kind of embarrassed him. The cop didn't get hurt, not for it to look like, but it was pretty embarrassing, I'm sure, for the police officer. The cop recovers, he gets up, and now he has on what's called at gunpoint. That just means that you're pointing a gun at somebody. Now they're kind of on the curb, and there's a three-lane street. It's called 6th Avenue. I'm very familiar with this side of town. So now there's video footage of this incident, and people are obviously recording. Now, the guy that was driving the car, his son and another female is there with this guy, and his son, you can tell it's his son because he's like, Dad, he's trying to like calm his dad down. Now you can tell that the guy was possibly intoxicated, combined with just getting into a wreck, so he's a little out of it. If you combine those factors, we're talking about the suspect here. So even though the police officer is pointing his gun at the suspect, for some weird reason, the suspect is trying to fist fight the cop. But the way that he's trying to do it was extremely weird. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Like I said, articulation is key. If you got somebody who look like they know what they're doing, and they coming up on you, and you know what I mean, and they look like they know what they're doing, maybe you can articulate a couple of things. The way that this guy was doing it, He was literally like slurring his words, and he's looking at the cop. He's like, "What's up? Oh, you're gonna get this." Literally, he's moving as fast as I'm moving. He's like, "What's up? You gonna get this work? What's up? Come get this. What's up?" And he's literally like, you know how you used to slap box back in the day, and he was doing that, but he wasn't even doing it like he knows what he's doing. He was on something like, "What's up? What's up? Come get this work." Officer told him to get back a couple of times or whatever the case is. The dude, the son said something to the guy. So when you see right here where it says where the officer sucker punched the man. So the dude doing this to the cop who's trying to fight the cop, the son said something to him. So he looks over at his son. And when he looks over at his son, the police officer took the opportunity to, I don't know, pistol whip him. I don't know what he tried to do, but it wasn't effective. So when the guy was distracted, he looks away. The cop comes up, kind of gives him a little hit. He gets the attention of the guy again. And the guy goes back on his like, "Come here. Like, you're going to get this work. Come here." And cop backed up, I don't know, a couple of steps and went ahead and shot him a couple of times. Hit him with a headshot, killed the dude. Right in front of the sun, right. This is broad daylight. I mean, there's cars in the street stopped, because the cop did back up and, into the street, one lane of traffic. But he did. He went ahead and killed him. That's the whole premise of that particular situation. The reason why I say the police officer really should not have, and Jay, you hit it spot on. Number one, the cop was scared. That's number one, right? He was scared. But the reason why the police officer should not have shot him was because, number one, the police officer had plenty of space to retreat. Plenty. And when I say retreat, I'm not talking about being a coward and tucking your tail, but between your legs and just hauling ass. Excuse my language. Like, I'm not talking about doing that. I'm talking about that police officer could have continued to circle and just you have this guy in your sights. He's right here. He hasn't thrown a punch at you. You can articulate some aggression because he was doing this, like, "What's up? What's up?" But the cars had stopped. That police officer could have just kept circling. The whole point is, when you're tactically retreating like that, I'm just waiting for backup to come. If you don't feel comfortable in going hands-on, you don't have to. This is why you have what's called a duty belt. Like Batman, you got some options around here. But when you start with firearm, it's very difficult to what's called de-escalate. It's hard to come down past a firearm. It's going to be very unreasonable for a police officer to be pointing a firearm at you and then holster up to pull out a taser. You work your way up to deadly physical force, but when you start with it, it's almost like it's your only option. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you start there, it's very hard to de-escalate. So because the police officer started there, it breaks my heart, man. But I will also submit to y'all, and I'm saying this out of love. If somebody is holding a weapon pointed at you or to you or whatever the case is, and you decide to walk towards that person that's holding a weapon, my expectation is for that weapon to be used on you. That's my expectation. The only way you should walk towards a person yielding a weapon at you is if they're giving you the command to come towards them. Other than that, I wouldn't suggest you going towards anybody yielding a weapon at you. That would be my just one-on-one advice. I'm not saying that it was the guy's fault. I'm just saying I don't think it was a good move for him to walk towards somebody pointing a gun at him either.
Common sense ain't so common.
So that part, right? I'm not sitting here saying, it's his fault per se, but I'm just giving y'all some life advice. If somebody is yielding a weapon, towards you or at you or whatever, and I don't know.
No,
that's the grand scheme of that particular situation.
These are gems right here that you're dropping for sure. I'm sure a lot of people in chat can definitely appreciate that, or they've known or heard of situations very similar where, the end result was a fatality.
Yeah.
Could have been avoided.
Yeah. Chat, for me, the moral of the story is don't let a piece of item, a piece of material you put that piece of material, above you. It's just the material. You can always acquire something else. You know, as much as I love sneakers, bro. It was heat that dropped last week, and this week is gonna be something else, and everybody forgot about what happened last week. There's always something new that's gonna come about where you can go ahead and reacquire something at a later date. I know we work hard for what we get, but don't let a piece of material outvalue your life.
Hard facts. I agree. I absolutely agree. Here goes a comment here. He says, you was a BF cop. Stop capping. Now, just the mere fact that your name is Prison Cheeks.
Love it.
I mean, it says a lot. It says a lot.
I mean, you are what you eat, right?
It says a lot. But thanks for tapping in regardless. But,
yeah, we appreciate the views.
Yeah. It says a lot. It says a lot. I love it. Let me hear some comments here. Well, Weird Kick said panel, slow Friday, so I did some digging. 1 month ago, 1.4 million found from train theft around 1300 Alameda Block south of Los Angeles, a few miles from location of stolen Nike product and tools.
Wow, man. Definitely
Good
wow.
work. Good work, Lewis. Here goes another fun fact. In every state, they have a street, a boulevard, or whatever. But there's one name that every state has as far as a street, a block, or whatever, a road, whatever.
Okay.
And it's actually Alameda.
Oh, really?
There's an Alameda in every single state, fam.
Now, what is Alameda exactly?
That is actually a good question. Can you think of an Alameda road or street or something in Chicago, Alameda?
Not off the top of my head, but that's not to say we don't have one. What about you, Jay? You ever heard of Alameda?
I have heard of Alameda.
Do we have it in Chicago?
I'm gonna look it up. Now you would think it'd be like Broadway or Main Street. You would think of like Main Street. Yeah, Main Street. Everywhere got a Main Street. It's actually Alameda.
Honestly, I feel like that's a north side or a west side street.
Well, Alameda is definitely not south side. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be like north or west. I feel like I've seen it before.
Okay.
I feel like I've seen it before.
Hold on. Let's do this then. How do you spell it?
Alameda.
Wait.
Alameda. Alameda.
Alameda. Okay, let's see. There is no Alameda Street in Chicago.
So there's no Alameda anything, Alameda Drive, Alameda anything in Chicago?
I just said street. Let's go.
Yeah, just
Drive, Boulevard.
Alameda Road, Boulevard.
I'll just say Alameda, Chicago. No.
Or maybe Illinois, because then that's the state actually.
Yeah. That makes more sense. Let's see.
And the state
is, if that makes sense.
I think it's a county or something. It's something.
You know what? I think you are right. I think we do have an Alameda County.
It's a county, bro.
If that makes sense. But yeah, there's an Alameda. Allegedly, there's an Alameda everywhere.
Yeah, like there's a Alameda in Aurora. Yeah.
There we go. I knew it.
Yep, you're right.
I knew it.
I'm sorry for the chat. Not Aurora, Colorado. We have an Aurora, Illinois here as well.
Mm-hmm. I knew it.
Okay.
Yep, 1025 Alameda Drive. Yep, and then we also have Alameda Ave and Oak Forest. Yeah, we've got plenty of Alamedas. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Oak Forest is that's a northwest suburb.
Yes. No. Southwest.
Southwest. Okay.
Yep.
Yo, real quick, because it wasn't even worth me even putting it in the chat, because as fast as it popped up, it went away. Hate to Lose sent me a link this morning it was for Tokyo 5s from wishatl.com. He sent me this link at 5:32 in the morning, which is 7:32 his time, and he sent me a message and he said, "Don't use Apple Pay," and he said, "I just hit." So he hit on these Tokyo 5s on ATL at 5:36, literally 2 minutes because I was stone cold sleeping. So at 5:36, no, he sent me the message at 5:32. At 5:36, I woke up because I heard my phone give me like the reminder of a message, and I was like, "Man, I just woke up. Congrats, fam." I said the page is already down. So by the time I got on it, the page was already down.
That's dope.
He said thanks, and then he said he just posted a Discord. I didn't think it would go through. I was like, "Yeah, that's what's up, fam. Congrats." You know, and then he goes, "They're starting to cancel orders." So his order got canceled at 5:46.
Damn.
They went ahead and canceled the order. So that was on Wish ATL. We're talking from 5:32 to 5:46. They went ahead and started canceling orders.
Damn.
Yep. I figured I'd put that out there.
I'm man, that's crazy. That's wild. That's bad. That's bad business, man. How don't you know your inventory? How don't you know your inventory? Anyway, I'm getting upset now. That really boils me. You don't know your inventory. But listen, chat, listen, I gotta get going. I love y'all, man. Listen, man, sub up to my brother, Mr. Think Impossible. All y'all Ghost Watchers out there, man, give my brother a thumbs up. Listen, shout out to my brother Purple Haze. He working on his channel, man. Like, go ahead and check my man's out on the IG. I'm your boy J Elevate. Ghost Watchers, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, man. We got a lot of content for y'all, man. Like where are you guys gonna find sneaker content where we talking about snitching, kicks, we talking about how to protect yourself? You're not gonna find it nowhere else. And if you do find it, they watched us first to get the info on how to do it. I'm not capping. I'm for real, man. Like, sub up to us, man. Every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're giving y'all that one pair at a time podcast work. I gotta go. Love y'all. Stay horny, world.
Thanks for tapping in, Jay. Thanks for tapping in. Hey, Perp, I don't want to hold you up. I know you're probably working as well.
Yeah, I gotta hop in 5 minutes myself for 12:30. But yeah, man. But it's definitely been real chapping it. Man, listen, I feel like I've learned so much this morning.
Man, real quick, Perp. Definition. In Spain and Spanish-speaking regions, a public walkway or promenade shade with trees.
Well, how about that?
Prominent shade with trees. Oh, that's fair. I just learned something.
Yeah, listen. That came across right as I was saying. I've learned so much this morning.
Hard facts. Shout out to Rob T. Shout out to everybody who had tapped in. I appreciate the panel. And Perp, if you got a dip, I probably got another 15, 20. I got some errands when I have a wedding I'm going to on Sunday.
Ooh, okay. Dust off the tux.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. But shout out to everybody who tapped in. I know the original conversation kind of started on, like what is a snitch and what is a witness and informant and stuff like that. There was all kind of like in reference to the whole Cool Kick situation. I'm not calling him a snitch or none of that stuff, and if I'm not calling him none of that stuff, I'm kind of looking at the totality of this situation to see, like, even as the different size fish, big fish, little fish, medium fish, whatever, as more arrests and busts and raids, go down and things that happen, I think we're going to begin to hear more news about the crackdown of what's been happening, with these stolen products. And also, to my knowledge, it's not even just sneakers. We're talking about like electronics and work tools and all types of stuff. So it's, whether it's been a train heist or whatever has been going down, clearly we got to wait until things officially come out. But, there's some developing stories, should I say, that's definitely getting released, regarding the community that we are a part of, and it's the sneaker community. I know you got to go, so whenever you got to boogie, you can boogie. Let me tell you something, a little something about me and how I think. There's nothing wrong with addressing problems. I think that's an effective form of communication is to address an issue. But one thing that I do like to do, because I asked y'all for your feedback on on certain things that we talked about today, let's talk about some solutions. So what do y'all have out there? And watch this. It doesn't really matter how silly it might sound or how unreasonable, it might appear. What are some solutions? What can we do as a community, as a sneaker community, even as a resale community, even reselling? Like, some people think reselling is all bad, and it's not, right? So what are some solutions that y'all could think of to where we can either pick up the torch from where the community used to be, or maybe we can light a brand new one? Maybe we can do something completely different, or whatever the case is. So how can we either, start to repair this thing? I'm open. Perp, anything before you bounce?
Man, I mean, that's such a loaded question and a lot to unpack. It begins with you as an individual, first and foremost, right? I always have this thing that I say, where I always say that every big thing that's ever happened in human history has always started small, right? Whether it be a movement, the piece de la resistance, or whether it be just something within your community, but it always starts with you as the individual, and it grows and it builds into something big, beautiful, and hopefully, policy changing, right? We see what's going on right now with, ICE in certain areas of the country, specifically here in this city. We see what's going on with the administration, with a lot of things that they're trying to do with overhauling the military right now. There are definitely a lot of things that are really happening that are impacting everybody, every American, every citizen in this country. But if you want change, if you want to really invoke a level of change and justice, it starts with you, right? You can't just say, hey, they're already working on it, whatever, I'm just gonna sit back, whatever. If you believe in something and you're passionate about it, get out there, do something, say something, organize, right? Whether it be grassroots all the way up to large, fully functionable organizations, be a part of something, stand for something. Health is important, right? You only get one body, right? But so is your mental capacity as well, and your mental compass. So if something is driving and compelling you to do something out here, as far as the social injustices go, get out there, do something, make a difference. Starts with you. And that's all I got.
I appreciate you, fam. Look at that quote. It starts with you.
Love it.
Hayes. I appreciate you, fam. Thanks for tapping in, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Hey, chat. Hey, have a great afternoon, man. We'll see you guys one pair of time on tomorrow morning. So get ready.
We'll be here. Good looking out, Perp.
Yes, sir.
Chat, before your bounce, I know there's still some people tapped in from J Elevate's platform. Where your kicks? There's still people, so I get to see all of the comments. So even if you comment, I can still see it on StreamYard. So please do tap in, even if you're not on my channel. I appreciate y'all being here. Chat, what are your thoughts? Moving forward, right? Creating a positive space. All of the above. What can we do to enhance this space that we enjoy, that we love? And watch this. Let's take it beyond sneakers, or whatever you're into, right? What are some positive things that we can do in order to repair this space, in order to bring it back, in order to even do something different, or whatever the case is? Let's start making some changes. Let's start doing something different. I'll share something with y'all. I am eligible to have what's called channel memberships on my YouTube channel. I have not set it up completely, even though I did. All right, let me say it the right way. Even though I did set it up, I haven't opened up the channel membership yet, because I'm still thinking of a way to where I can provide some sort of benefit to you becoming a member of the channel. I want to give you value back, right? I want to provide value. So I mean, it's one thing, for me to be like, and I'm saying this with the purest heart. It's one thing for me to be like, yo, become a member of my channel, support the channel, and help me get more sneakers. Yay, that's great. but how can I pour back into you? How can I give back? So that's the reason why I haven't done it yet, because I want to give as well, right? So one thing that I thought about was I have sneakers. I'm telling you right now, I have sneakers in my collection that I am not going to hold on to. Many of which is dead stock, even if they're used or whatever. But to my point, I can create something to my channel members to where I can sell a kick to you for $50 below what it's reselling at, right? No matter what the shoe is, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna get a guaranteed deal by me selling a kick to you to where everybody wins. I made some money out the deal. You copped it for below what resale is currently at, on top of the fees and tax and all that stuff, and everybody's happy. But that's me finding a way, trying to actively find a way to give value back, right? To kind of pour back, you know, into people. Because let's face it, nobody likes the feeling of being taken advantage of. Like nobody likes that feeling, right? So, and that's not what I'm about. But tap in real quick. Let me know if y'all have any solutions just in general on how we can continue. So one thing that we've done here at One Pair at a Time, look, for those of y'all that be rocking out with us, and y'all know who y'all are, we believe in helping each other cop kicks for retail, even below retail, you know what I mean? Whether we're at sneaker events, we look out for each other. So, you know, there might be a shoe that I'm not interested in or someone else is. I'll try to hit for you or whatever the case is. You know, we share information about raffles and current events and just all of the above. You know what I mean? Like we are legitimately not trying to gatekeep, like literally nothing. There's nothing that we know that we're literally not sharing with y'all in order to keep this community, you know, in the loop, if that makes sense. And I love it. I mean, we're operating as a unit, you know what I mean? And I absolutely love it. And we have all types of walks of life that's tapped in as well. You know, we really do. We really do. I love it. I don't want people to get discouraged. There was a post that I've seen on I think it was, I'm part of so many groups. I think it was a group on Facebook where when this Cool Kick situation had first got released, somebody had commented, was like, man, I'm about to stop. I'm just going to shut down a sneakers app, you know, because of this stuff is happening. I don't have a shot in the dark to ever cop anything. So they were pretty much saying they're just giving up. And I was like, yeah, I don't want people to get discouraged. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you move on from sneakers and you're doing something else, or you investing into something else, I understand that, you know, but I definitely don't want people to get discouraged because of the drama, right? Don't if you're passionate about whatever it is that you're doing, I don't want you to get discouraged because there's drama within that field or within that niche. But let me head into some comments and see if anyone has tapped in. I said, yes, it's not about resale. It's about enjoying the hunt and the community that comes with sneakers. You know, when I have a good friend of mine. I have a good friend of mine, Ohio, that he actually prefers to shop resale. And that's just because of anxiety and, you know, all that good stuff. Like he really just don't want the drama. Good friend of mine, and he'd rather hit like a reseller, like quick, you know, get what he want or whatever the case is. Obviously he wants it to be authentic, you know, but that's actually his preference in order to not, he don't want to stand in line. He don't want to be camped out. He, you know what I mean? He's like, I just want the sneaker, bro. You know what I mean? So, you know, I definitely understand, you know, multiple sides of the coin, you know, for sure. But you know, let's talk about like campouts. I remember when, like, back in the day, man, like even not even just sneakers, man. I used to camp out like midnight release parties for like Call of Duty. Be outside of a GameStop, you know, and you can cop your game, you know, the night before. And just the relationships, you know, the people that you get to talk to while you're just waiting in line. You know what I mean? Like, you're absolutely right. I mean, those are some dope times right there. Those are definitely some pretty dope times. And it's also funny because sometimes you can actually develop better relationships with people you meet online that you straight playing a video game with that you know in real life. Like, you can definitely establish a pretty dope relationship online. It's amazing on how far technology has gotten us. I still believe it's more good in the sneaker community than negative. The negative stories are highlighted more, though. I do agree with that. There's something that, you know, there's something about drama that's appealing to us, like just in general. You know what I mean? Like who would want to see a reality show of anybody just like traveling all over the world, worry free, no drama? They just out there partying and eating good food. Like, who would really want to see like a reality show that's, you know, that's like that? I'm not saying I wouldn't want to watch it, but who would really want to see, like, what's that show you watching? Oh man, it's called Travel the World, man. We're a group of friends. They just get together and have a freaking blast and eat some good food and drinks and party hardy all night long. You know, that's what this, man, people are gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to see that, man. They want to see some drama. You know what I mean? They want to see people talking crap about each other and all that stuff. Sneaker Tyler said, cool shirt. Yo, fam, here goes the funny thing. This is a Tesla Cybertruck. Y'all know what this vehicle is. Man, I want a Cybertruck so bad. Everyone says it's ugly, and I love the way that these things look. So my parents, you know, being my parents, my dad having the type of personality that he has. My parents are back in New York. My dad was like, son, your mom and I decided to get you a Cybertruck. So they sent me a couple of these shirts. So thanks, mom and dad, for my Cybertruck. Oh man, D-Dog in the build. It's just crazy seeing some of your old videos and the transformation. You guys got sneakers on the budget on the panel. Yep. Yeah, man. Hey, Rob T, that's actually part of the journey, you know. And thanks for going back and like watching the older content. For those of y'all that are tapped in that don't know, shout out to my guy Jay Elevate, Lewis at Where Your Kicks 26. Lewis, shout out to Lewis. Lewis is monetized on YouTube. He's fully monetized. Good work, Lewis. Jay and myself were kind of like the last ones, and then Purple Haze, his channel will be coming. So when Purple Haze gets his channel up, he's gonna be doing great, because you know there's already people that's tapped in that automatically be showing Perp some love, which is definitely needed on YouTube. You know, we're striving to become fully monetized. You know, I'm really just trying to find my space on this platform. Sneakers is just one part of it. I already have other ideas. I'm a bowler. I'm about to start a bowling channel because I got some connections, you know, within the bowling community. I'm about to start doing some other stuff when it comes to the stock market and investing. So I'm gonna have multiple channels, but I didn't want to kind of bounce around before I got this sneaker channel monetized. So for everybody who's tapped in, I say all of that to say, I appreciate you. Rob T's been going back, watching my old content. I'm getting credit for those hours. I officially need like 733 hours more in order to become fully monetized. And I like to leave my old videos up so that if there's anyone who wants to get into content creation, you know, I definitely want to encourage you, motivate you, and say, look, do it. You know, just do it. You got to get started. The first step is the most important one. You know what I mean? It's okay to be scared, fearful. Maybe you don't look good on camera, all that stuff. Like, practice makes perfect. You will get better at it. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely want to encourage people. That's why I leave my older videos on there, because if you'll go back and look at my older videos, my content sucked. I don't think my content is good right now. As far as, let me say it this way. I don't think my content is the bomb. That's not my personal thought on my own content. I could be a little rough on myself. I don't think my content sucks. But when I first started, my content sucked. It was bad. And that's the process that all content creators go through in the very beginning. And I want to encourage people, that's normal, man. Like, don't beat yourself up. I keep my old videos up there. Y'all go through, look at my old videos, man. Like, my reviews were crappy. My background was crappy. I didn't have all of this. I built up to it. You know what I mean? So I say that to encourage people. If you want to get into that content creation, I encourage you to do it. Let's see. Ohio said it's like a car wreck. People can't help but look. I agree. Niners beating the Bucks this Sunday. Bang bang Niner gang. All right, we got somebody in here for the Niners. I was just excited. I was able to cop a pair of Shattered Backboards, $115 off Shoe Palace for my wife. Congrats, Ohio. I did see that message came out this morning. Yeah, I saw that. $115 Air Jordan 1 Shattered Backboards. Look, man, you are winning. You are absolutely winning. Rob T asks, so are you close to your hours or are you still like 5 days behind? So no, I'm not close. Well, closer than what I've been. I need like 755 hours. I should, if things go the way that I'm projecting, I kind of geeked out when it came to like this hour thing. I like literally wrote it down and I'm kind of keeping track of my hours. I haven't been on a live within the past 3 days, which kind of put me behind just a little bit, but I'm going to make up for it. But, according to my own little personal projections there, Rob T, I should be eligible for monetization by like November 12th. That's my own little personal plan that I'm putting myself on. It will definitely be before the end of the year. I will be monetized this year. I'm looking at November 12th. If it can be sooner, I definitely take that. Ohio said, I'm about to hop off here in a minute. I got a meeting, got to join. Hope you have a blessed weekend and be safe. Same to you, Ohio. Thanks for tapping in. It's always love, man. I appreciate you. Rob T said, I saw you climbing the Garden of the Gods mountains or something one day. LOL. Yep. I was out there at the Garden of the Gods and then shot a little video. Man, I actually had fun. I had fun. I've gone up there a few times, but this time there were like some animals. I mean, it was really cool. Like there was a rattlesnake. I mean, I saw so much out there. It was actually pretty dope. He said, I'm like, look at Mr. Thing. Ohio said, LOL, I definitely got stage fright. I thought about making videos. Mom spaghetti. Mom spaghetti. Yeah. Which is normal. But let me share this with you, Ohio. And I know you got to bounce, but you can always catch up with what I'm about to say a little bit later. I am a drummer in church, right? I've drummed in mega churches in front of a lot of people. So stage fright is normal. I do not get stage fright anymore. I had it like maybe the first 1 or 2 times that I've actually done it, but whatever, right? And I'm not saying that to sound big and bad. I'm saying that to say this. Believe it or not, making videos, I don't know if you can actually get stage fright from making videos because there's nobody watching you. I'm on a live right now. This is live. So y'all are watching me live, yes. But when you're making an actual video, it's yourself and a camera. There's literally no, well, I don't know how your setup's going to be, but I'm like a one-man show. I'm in the basement of my house. My wife's not standing there behind. My kids aren't standing there right now holding the camera. And, I'm speaking in front of someone. I'm actually speaking in front of y'all on the live. But when I'm making a video, it's just me and the camera. So there's nothing really there's no fright there. Let me tell you what was difficult for me in the beginning. It's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's the opposite of stage fright. I'm a people's person. You could put me in front of an audience with people and a mic, and I'm not going to be like, hi. That's not me. I'm going to grab that mic and be like, yo, what up? What up? Shout out to everybody who's tapped in. Let's get a round of applause to Michael. That's me all day. But imagine doing that in an empty room. That's the difficult part for my personality. You put me in a party, man, I'll walk around, talk, be dancing, hey. But imagine having all that energy when it's just you. That's the difficult part for me. So when I make my long form videos, I literally have to like act. Even though I'm being authentic, I'm being me, but I have to act as if like y'all are interested in what I'm talking about when I'm not getting no immediate feedback. Yo, I just copped these today. What do y'all think? Hey, and meanwhile, it's crickets. Ain't nobody talking back to me. But I got to sit here and be like, yo, take a look at that. Ooh, do you feel that? Ooh, that feels nice and smooth to the touch. What do y'all think about the gum bottoms? And I'm asking questions and I'm not even getting like feedback. I'm talking to a dog on camera. So I said it to encourage you. you might be a little bit more comfortable than you think talking into a camera. There's nobody there. Now, after you post a video and people are going to comment, because they will, that's when you're going to get your feedback. But during that interaction of making a video, there's nobody there. You might be a little bit more comfortable than you think. Me, I was uncomfortable because I like being in front of people and being in an audience. But I'm over here like talking to myself in my videos. So I had to get used to that. I know there was a long drawn out thing. You can go back and watch what I said, but I feel you on that. But you might be a little bit more comfortable than you think. Got another guys featuring Jordan 1 Black Gold on foot. I was like, nice. Yeah, good looking out, fam. I actually had fun. Like, and it was, oh my gosh, it was hot. Man, that sun was beaming. Man, it was beaming. Do multiple computers count watching, or they need to be a different IP? I honestly don't know, Rob T. To be honest with you, I honestly don't know the answer to that. But just look, I'm grateful just at the mere fact that you got my joint playing on, you know, even just one device. Like when I tell you I'm grateful because y'all are literally helping me get to this monetization, because it's not easy. That's the crazy part. Like, viewership just on YouTube in general is down, but this whole monetization thing, man, like you have to get an X amount of hours within a 365 day time frame. So just for anyone that don't know what that means, like I said, I kind of geeked out and I went old school and I wrote my hours down. So today is the October 10th. So watch this. All right, so this one is good. On October 10th of 2024, I gained 2 hours of watch time this time last year. So what that means is on today's date, I'm going to lose 2 hours of watch time because 365 days have come, and 1 year later, I'm going to lose. So just to put this into perspective, on October 5th, I had 29.9 hours. This is October 5th of 2024, last year. I gained 29.9 hours of watch time. So as of October 5th of this year, I lost 29.9 hours of watch time. Now, the good news is, on October 5th, I gained 27 hours from me going live and me having my videos. So anyway, if you take 29.9 and you minus 27, what I gained, I only lost 2.9 hours. So that I'm just kind of give y'all how it actually works. So I have it written down on a piece of paper here on my hours that I'm going to lose. And my plan is I came up with a system to where this is why I've been going live almost every day, as y'all been tapping in, helping me out. But my whole plan is I have to gain more hours than what I'm about to lose, if that makes sense. I got to gain more than what I lose. And that's how I'm going to get to the 4,000 hours. So I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in. Like I said, it really does mean the world to me. Y'all are helping me get there. You can buy subscribers. You can buy views, right? And if you get caught doing that, YouTube can ban your channel and all that stuff. So I'm not so much into it for the optics or the bragging rights, right? Like I legit want like organic growth. Man, people have been subscribing to the channel. I got like 160 subscribers within the past like 28 days. And I've never gotten that many subs, you know, since I've been going live like every day practically. So I appreciate you though. You said, yeah, the place looked beautiful. J Merle in the building. MTIP. One man show, aka one take. You ain't never lie, King. And I'll be messing up in my videos too. And even though I could edit it out, I intentionally leave it there. I do that once again for like the transparency. Like there's sometimes I make a video and I forget to say like kind of like some important stuff, like how much this shoe retail for, when the shoe is dropping. Sometimes I just forget to say like important stuff. So during my editing, I would actually just put the price up on the screen, or I will put the release date on the screen. But there's sometimes when like I kind of go like off the dome, I kind of freestyle like all of my videos. So I just kind of go off the top. And then because I'm doing that, I forget. Now they do make a teleprompter that your phone or you can put a tablet inside of, and literally it's attached to your camera, just like how the president, you know, reads off of a teleprompter. You can be looking at the camera, or it looks like you're looking at the camera, but in all reality, you're reading, you know what I mean? And you can have the screen go as slow, as fast as you want it to go, and you're literally just reading. So these Air Jordan 1s released April 2nd, 2023 for retail price of $175. And let me tell you, and you're reading right off of a teleprompter, and it looks like you're, looking right into the camera. It's not all obvious. So you're like this, talking or whatever. Ohio State, they still need a pair. I think you're talking about the shattered backboards. It's a nice shoe. It's a nice shoe. We got a little shout out there to King Midas. I'm gonna tell you what Banks told me. Cuz go ahead and switch the style up, and if they hate, and let them hate, and watch the money pizzle up. Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? We be getting some hip hop references. Okay, I feel you. You said we live in this thing. Yeah, Rob T said, yeah, man, sneaker views are down big. Even the sneaker comments on X are down super huge. It is. And I get it. Some things come and go. Some things come, go, and come again. You know what I mean? It is all good. I appreciate you, brother. You said proud of you. You've been putting in that work 100%, fam. And it's dope. It's dope because kind of like being a mover, when you start really pursuing, like what you're passionate about, no matter what it is, it actually don't even feel like work. Even though you're putting in that work, you don't be feeling like work. Truth be told, like, it don't matter if I get on here and do a sneaker cleaning video, talk about a review, or talk about something that's about to drop, or talk about whatever we talk about. It's more like I'm just kind of kicking it with the homies still. You know what I mean? After I get my channel membership going, I definitely want to have a space. I definitely want to create a space to where all of y'all that be tapped in, instead of just reading your comments, I would like y'all to be on the panel. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to. You can mute your camera, you can block out your camera and just hear your voice. But I literally want to have a voice to the names, you know what I'm saying? And I think that'd be dope to like more or less just kick it. And I don't know if I need to create like a whole new channel to do that. Like, I honestly don't know on what level or whatever, or maybe I can keep it sneaker related or whatever we're talking about related. But I would literally like to have a platform to recognize you, like to hear your voice and to let you speak. I know your comment, and I like to highlight the comments or whatever, you know what I mean? But you might have more to say than what you want to type, and I literally want to give people the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to speak. When this fight comes on, man, I had this idea of what I wanted to do for this fight, and I might have to help my wife out with her little jewelry deal, little jewelry business. Well, you gaining at least 24 to 72 hours for me, at least today. Hey, brother, appreciate you. Well, Johnny said, I want to see you get there. It's nice to catch up on the old stuff that I missed. What's your next sneaker pickup, Mr. Think? Yo, tomorrow, fam. I like these soft pinks. These Jordan 5 soft pinks. I like these joints. Truth be told, I know it might be a little controversial for somebody. Truth be told, I like them more than the Pink Awakes. These right here. I actually like these joints more than the Pink Awakes. Now, when I say more, I'm talking about colorway, particularly just the colorway. I like the fact that we have a predominantly white sneaker. Y'all know I'm not big on pink. I'm really not big on pink. So this right here is tolerable for me. This right here, like this white kick with the little hits of pink. We got it right here in the shark teeth. We got a little bit on the bottom. We have a pink lace lock, pink Jumpman, pink interior as far as like the sock liner there, the ankle collar. And we have the pink on the outside of the 23, that embroidery there. Oh, and the Nike Air on the back. Obviously, this is the 3M reflective. That joint is so dope. Yep, pink Nike Air on the insole there with the black. But what I like about this shoe is it's not overwhelming with pink. It's not like slapping you in your face like bow. You see that? I think I like this. Like I really do. Nice Nike Air on the back. Okay, got a pink Jumpman right there in the translucent. Obviously, we got a pink box. But I like this 35th anniversary. I like the way this joint look. I'm gonna go for these joints. Are you gonna go for the Voodoos? They added a ton of Stussy stuff on sneakers and some KDs and Jaws for Halloween. Yep, some Jaws. So I initially am not going for the Voodoos. I think Lewis or somebody, it was either Lewis or Jay. I don't remember which one, but somebody had asked me to go for it for them. I, for some weird reason, and I'll do it. I'll do it if they want me to. For some weird reason, I don't think these Voodoos are going to be a hard cop. I could be wrong, but I don't think these Voodoos are going to be a hard cop. I'll have to look into that. But I remember JD Sports. I think JD Sports is going to have them. And I don't remember who else. But I don't think these Voodoos are going to be as difficult as one might think. That's just my little 2 cents. But if somebody wants me to, go for a pair of, for them, I sure enough will. I sure enough will. Okay. Sneakers put up $25. Stussy jump rope. Nice. Sneakers and stuff. Okay. All right. Sneaker Tyler said, bro, I seen those LeBrons in person, and I hate to say this, but I'm not that big of a fan. They are dope, but I thought it was foam posit, and apparently it's some really thin material, and they crease bad. Are you, Tyler, are you talking about the, what's the name of those? The 40K, what are they called? I don't know why I want to say undefeated. What was it? What's the name of those things? Man, I'm forgetting the name of it. Well, are you talking about the 40Ks? He said, oh, so you going for them live tomorrow? No juicy deal? It looks like you go on and get those and then get rid of those awakes and bring in that cheddar. All right. Good question. Maybe I could get a juicy deal on it because I don't know. I can't speak on these soft pinks yet. So let's start by seeing what are these soft pinks going for resale right now, because you're right. I mean, they might actually sit. I didn't even consider that actually. All right, let's take a look. All right, Jordan 5. Let's see where we at. Soft pink. Oh, they're not going for nothing. So, all right, a size 12 is $218. Size 13, $237. Size 11 is $218. Real quick, what are these retailing for again? Do we got anybody in $200? Wow. So this is kind of like the first indicator right here. I mean, these joints are literally dropping tomorrow, and I'm showing a retail price of $200. I guess I could have checked the sneakers app too, but I don't have that pulled up on my computer. So we're talking $18 over retail. $37 over retail. Obviously, and you always got to factor in tax and shipping, whatever. But that's actually not bad. So this right here is like my first indicator of these might be available. They might be available. G-Face, salute. I am not monetized yet. I'm still in the process of getting monetized, but J Elevate did get monetized last week. But good looking at G-Face. I appreciate you for tapping in. I still got 733 hours to go. Give or take. But salute. Appreciate you. I appreciate you for tapping in. Big time. No stock numbers as of yet. But if I do get some, I will go ahead and post it to my story. Normally, my guy, Hate to Lose, he's tapped into all of the Discord. So he be hooking me up, with the stock numbers. And Lewis be getting his hands on them as well as Purple Haze. But yeah, real quick, Rob T, as far as the pink awakes, I was talking about starting another YouTube channel. You know, my boy Elliot came up with his name, Kicking Stocks. You know, but pretty much going from kicks to stocks. I'm not selling my collection and not like that, but I will be selling some kicks and using the profit from that to invest into the stock market. So, I'm gonna be sharing like create like a whole new account and public profile or whatnot, and I'll just literally be sharing like, yo, I just sold these shoes for whatever $700, and I'm about to put this $700 boom into the stock market. You know what I mean? Just kind of show like the growth. From there is one of the ideas that I have for starting another channel. So, to your point, it's a possibility that these Pink Awake 5s, nice shoe. I ain't dishing the shoe, none of that stuff. But it's a possibility. I just might be tossing them joints. Just might be tossing them. And of course, I will offer it to a member on the channel, for a good deal before I offer them anywhere else. LeBron 23s. Okay, the 2340Ks. Okay, so Tyler was talking about them. He said they had the new colorway, OG my local Foot Locker, and I wasn't impressed. Plus, I don't like the lacing system. If that lacing string breaks, you're cooked. All right. Yo, the Mars yard keep going up. Any word on the drop? I keep hearing whispers. Maybe that's a good question, because I did hear that they were going to be coming to the sneakers app after I told you it wasn't. So some stuff came down the line. So we're just going to have to stay tapped into that, to be honest with you, Rob T, because I have heard, the last I've heard was that they are coming to the sneakers app. I haven't looked at prices on these in a minute. Man, you ain't never lied, fam. Okay, so we already know larger sizes are gonna be ridiculous. So we're looking at a size 15. Goat got a pair for 56 hundo. Size 14, 1934. Size 13, 14, 52. So we're in the thousands. From a size, from a size 7 and up, we're already in the thousands, and a 6.5 is 935. So you're absolutely right, man. These things are cooking. Wow. Nice looking shoe. I'm actually digging the colorway. I really am digging the colorway here. I remember, Rob T, you mentioned that these were kind of heavy, like they're a little heavy on foot. But yeah, I'm actually digging this colorway. Wow. All right, he said, I think you got to hold off for the juicy deal with those prices. Yeah, these might be. The soft pink is okay. All right, so I made a mistake. It's $215 retail. All right, so maybe a nice kicks. Maybe this is just an old post. September 27th. So it could be a mistake, because they had 200 here. So okay, these are going for $215. Good looking out with that correction there, because nice kick got it down. That's 200. I bet. Good looking out with that. Yeah, so if they're that I guess that's even better. If they're retailing for $215 and StockX is typically cheaper, you do got to factor in fees and all that stuff. But let's see what StockX is doing with those soft pinks. Let's see where we're at. Gray School. Definitely not what I wanted. Hit the wrong one. see what we're looking at. Okay, so the prices are very similar. Size 11, 203. So that, obviously below retail. 212 below retail. Size 12 retail. 215. Obviously, you got to factor in the tax and shipping, but yeah, just from looking at this, I wouldn't think that these soft pinks are going to be a hard cop. Obviously, I don't have stock numbers, but I wouldn't naturally think these soft pinks are going to be a difficult cop, to be honest. G-Face said, can I send you a dono? Oh, snap. He said, how can I send this? Yo, G, hold up. Let me get my screen up. Yo, good looking out, G-Face. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks. Appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. Good looking out. I appreciate that, man. That's mad love right there. Oh, John said I got mine all gone for 60 over. That's what's up, man. That is a heck of a flip. Are you talking about the soft pinks, the fives? And how many did you you cop? Sneakers, stocks, and sports. That'd be nice. Ooh, a triple S action. Triple S. Now, I do have to admit, right? I don't have a favorite sports team, like literally in any sport. Generally, the reason why is because, like, no lie, I'm so busy. Y'all might be surprised. Watch this. Y'all might be surprised on how much I'm online. You might think, like, yo, Mr. Think is like retired. He don't work, and this is what he do full time. Absolutely not. I work full time, and I'd be lying to you if I told you I work 40 hours a week. Actually, if I was to only work 40 hours a week, that's considered like a light week for me. I work an excessive amount, but let me tell you what I don't do. I don't sleep much. Like, I just don't. So with that being said, that's why you'll be seeing me pop up on lives at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's why I pop up on these random times, because I really just don't sleep much. However, over the past couple of days, it's kind of weird. I actually got some really good sleep, which is weird for me. Because typically, if I get about 4 hours, if I can get 4 hours of non-disturbed sleep, I can go like all day. That's all I really need is like 3 to 4 hours, and I'm good. But I kind of slept in the past couple of days. Good looking out with that dono, fam. I greatly appreciate you. He said I got mine going for 260. No, I'm not monetized yet, John. I'm still chopping away at it. Still working away at it. Yes, sir. He said they are fire, but not worth the bread, though. Let's see. LeBron 22s definitely have a better build quality than the 23s. Nike spent too much money on the box and should have given us a better lacing system. I don't like string lace system. I prefer holes. Okay, I got you. They should be called the Jake from State Farms. Jada in the build said, hey, Mr. Think. What's up, Jada? Jada in the build. That's my baby right there. That's my daughter, who happens to be in school at the moment and on YouTube. Nah, she's on lunch, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of school, she's in high school. Man, schools have changed so much. They let these kids leave. They let these kids leave the school to go get something to eat. Man, that goes. I'm gonna date myself. Man, we weren't allowed to leave the school unless you were a senior. That's number one. The seniors did have the freedom to leave. But man, when you went to school, you had to stay there. These freshmen, but she's not a freshman anymore. She's a sophomore now. But even as a freshman, freshmen even have what's called free periods. It's just a period where you don't have any class. I didn't have a free period until I was a senior. Man, the times have changed so much. These kids got so much freedom. It's hilarious. Sneaky Tyler said, I'm going to go for those 5s tomorrow. Yeah, man. To Rob's point, maybe I'll wait on stock numbers. Because if there's a high stock on them, I'm definitely going to try to get a juicy deal on those. Anybody seen dude freak out the fire red 4s with the 5 bottoms? Nah, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. Might have to find something on that. Okay, so he flipped 14 pairs. Sleep 5 hours max for me. He said he's more tired when you sleep over a 6. Yeah, you can definitely sleep too much. Sometimes people don't realize that you sleep too much. You wake up all groggy and they're like, I don't know what's wrong. I gotta get to my sleep. It's like, yeah, you slept too much. Yeah. Yeah, he says she's showing support. Yeah, no doubt. I'm grateful. Truth be told, watch this. Because I wasn't paying attention to my phone. Okay, she didn't. Because normally my daughter would be like, Dad, can you send me some money Cash App so I can get some food? Because to your point, John, he said I'll be door dashing mine since lunch. Yeah, these kids be doing that too. But they actually got the freedom to leave. They can leave the school, man. It's crazy. I'm like, word. I remember one school. I thought this was so dope back in the day. I remember this one high school back in New York, man. I don't remember the school, but they either had a Pizza Hut or a McDonald's like in the school, and I was like, man, that is so dope. They had one of them, but it was inside the school. I was like, yo, that is so dope to have that inside your high school. I mean, healthy, probably not, but you know, when you're younger, you don't care. You just want to eat. Oh, okay. The Sneaky Tyler asked John, is that Vic from Reshoevn8r? So was that Vic who did like that soul swap you were talking about? So anybody seen that dude freak out the fire red 4s with the 5 bottoms? Was that Vic from Reshoevn8r? If it was, yeah, I know how to look that up. Sneaky Tyler said we used to flood the subway near our school. Yeah, we the school that I went to, it's called St. John's Prep. It's in Astoria, Queens. There really wasn't a food spot close, but when I say close, there was one like 4 blocks away. That's where the food was at. So we would just take the quick walk, you know, if we had to. But then again, by senior year, a lot of us were driving, so then we had whips, and yeah, we would leave actually senior year to go get some food. We actually did. Obviously, this is way before any type of DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of that stuff. Truth be told, this is way before Uber or Lyft or any of that stuff anyway. So yeah, if you didn't have a car per se, you were walking, taking that mass transportation, you know. Man, I to get to school I used to take one bus, I used to take one bus, 2 trains, and then when we got that second train, we still had to walk 4 blocks to get to school. It's crazy. And it's funny because now I drive my daughter to the bus stop. A lot of the times my wife does it as well. These kids are spoiled. Man, that is hilarious. He said, I used to live near school, so I didn't get my license until I was 18 because I would ride my bicycle. Yeah, let me share. I don't know. Maybe it's not funny, but it was funny. It was funny to us because we were kids. Funny story. Good friend of mine, his name is Carl. Carl used to drive his mom's car. His mom had a Plymouth Sundance. And you know, he'll come pick us up or whatever and take us to school or whatever the case is. Senior year pep rally, right? Dang, this is crazy. Senior year pep rally. His dad, and Carl is Jamaican. So, you know, Jamaican parents, all this stuff. Cool parents, right? Everybody. That's cool. Well, senior year for the pep rally, his dad let him take his Benz, his Mercedes-Benz. You know, we're talking 1998, so the car is even older than that. But this is senior year in high school. And he got his dad's Benz, and his dad's Benz is a rear-wheel drive. It was one of the smaller Benzes. If I was to take a guess in today's, I guess, you know, models, it would be equivalent to like a C class, but still, it's still a Mercedes, you know what I mean? And his dad let him take the car. To make a long story short, my boy Carl was driving. Hate to Lose, who be on this platform all the time. You see his name pop up. He was sitting in the front passenger seat, and I'm sitting in the back behind Hate to Lose, the back passenger. Man, we were like 2 blocks away from my house. We was on our way to school. And it did like a little rain, like just a small little light drizzle. He wasn't speeding or nothing. Light was red. Light turns green. He goes and he got his blinker on, everything. He goes to make a left-hand turn, and like literally, I'm sitting in the back, right? He wasn't speeding nothing. Rear wheel drive. He just lost traction. Car fishtailed on him. He wasn't trying to sew off. None of that stuff, because that's what his dad thought. Of course, you know, the parents are mad, whatever. Literally, the car, he makes a left-hand turn. I'm sitting in the back. I'm in the back. I watch the car go like this. Fishtail this way. He corrects the wheel over to the right. Car whips around. Fishtails this way. He goes right up on the curb, slaps into a telephone pole, totals the car. Dang. Gonna impact. I didn't have my seatbelt on, I ain't gonna lie. But I was sitting in the back. So I wasn't injured, but my knees went into the back passenger thing and kind of even bent the seat. My boy, hate to lose, was sitting in front of me. Joel, that's his name. He was sitting, you know, in front of me or whatever. They had their seatbelts on. It's kind of like a bad habit, that I have. Even to this day, I don't like wearing my seatbelt when I'm sitting in the back. And I know it's not a good practice, but it's kind of like a bad habit that I currently have because I drive so much. Like, no lie, I drive so much. I really enjoy being a passenger. I do wear my seatbelt when I'm in front, but it's kind of a bad habit I got. Maybe I need to snap out of that, to be honest with you. I know it's not safe, but I don't like wearing my seatbelt when I'm in the back seat. So anyway, yeah, he totaled his dad's car, man. Dang. It was a crazy little high school story. And this is the day of the pep rally and the whole 9 yards. And then the crazy part was, like, his dad got there. I guess, his dad was mad. Yeah, thanks, we're okay, right? But his dad was, like, low-key kind of blaming me because his son wrecked the car, and I was kind of like, I wasn't driving, I'm sitting in the back, like, what I had to do with this, but maybe it was because of, I don't know, his son came to pick me up, right? But I was like, what did I do? But whatever, we were all safe, man. His dad and I'm getting another car, but yeah, he totaled his dad Benz, man. A 190E Mercedes. Yeah, man, let me look it up. Like, I would like to look that up because, yeah, it was one of them older models, but, respectfully so, it was still nice. It was still a Benz, during that era. Let me take a peek. Yeah, yes, it was an E-Class. My man is on to something. All right, hold up. Pull this up. You ain't never lie. So it was more like one of these. Yeah. You ain't never lie. It sure enough was. It was an E-Class. And, like I said, respectfully, so I know you probably look at these now like, whatever. But back during that time, nah, this is luxury right here. This is straight luxury, but an older model for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you ain't never lie. He said, Tyler, did you see them? Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. If it's Vic you're talking about, yeah, man, I'll watch that. He said we used to get in trouble for smoking trees in the woods by school. He put up that broccoli. Okay. He said, yeah, that car with the spoiler is fire. The dope boy Benz. You ain't never lie. Oh snap. Jay elevating the bill. What up, fam? What up? My bad. You know me, man. I get the babbling. I'm still up on here. I am gonna tap out here soon. I might do a live later on today. I've been saying that, and I don't know if I'm jinxing myself, but lo and behold, whenever I've been saying that recently, I've been getting busy. It's weird on how that's been working out. It's because I haven't been live, for 3 days outside of today. I will be on here tomorrow. Tomorrow I have work. Later on, I got a security gig to go do. Then I got a wedding on Sunday, so I got to dip up out of here to go get some shoes, some dress shoes. I tried to wear some J's to this wedding. It didn't work. Yeah, but I tried. I was like, yo, I'm saying I got a lot of shoes. Do I gotta dress up? And they was like, yeah, sorry. I was like, so now I gotta go get some dress shoes. So I got a couple of errands to go run. Nothing crazy. Give me something to eat. Figure out what I'm gonna eat as well. But shout out to everybody who had tapped in. Like I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate the donation. I got that dono in here today. G-Face, I salute. I appreciate you. Look, it's always love on this end. Make sure you'll tap in one pair at a time. We got my guy Purple Haze. Got my guy Jay Elevate. Right now, look. Make sure y'all like the video. Jay, right now, Jay Elevate, because I got the master system here. He got people that's tapped into his channel. Even right now, make sure you show my guy some love. Double tap that screen. Where your kicks? He got people tapped into his channel right now. For those of y'all watching, make sure you double tap that screen. Drop him that like. Drop me that like. It's not for bragging rights. It helps the algorithm just push the video out to more people. So the more you interact, the more you're engaged, the more you share, the more you tap that like button, all of it, it all matters. It all counts. And we're grateful for the donations and the whole 9 yards. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go get me something to eat, run some errands. Because I be missing y'all, I will get back on later. I don't have a time yet. Because you know how I am. I can get on at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, let me go run some errands and I'll wear some kicks to get dirty so I can clean them up on the live. So I'll do that. Since I got these pine greens out right now. Since I got these out right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should rock my pine greens today, since I got them out. So, I mean, stay right here. Just stay right here. I'm gonna throw these pine greens on foot. That's what I'm gonna rock. Yo, so you talking about? Did those drop today or yesterday? I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember I told you I was like I would rock a pair. I know it got that green, you know, in the air unit, but I would actually rock a pair of them joints. I just didn't want to spend $200 for them, whatever they retail for. I definitely didn't want to spend $200 on them. And John said I ordered the black ones yesterday. So it was yesterday. Good looking out, John. Yeah, sure enough. I would actually rock a pair of those. I was just being cheap. I was like, I ain't paying no 200. I remember Jay was like, nah, you can miss me with those. But I was like, yo, I'd actually rock a pair of them joints. I sure enough would. Yo, congrats on that. Congrats. He said, yeah, the green is a little funky. But yeah, John, congrats on that. Family, I'll see y'all a little bit later. One pair at a time. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Mountain time where I'm at. I will see you for sure in the morning, but if anybody can tap in a little bit later on today, I would appreciate y'all. I would appreciate you. It's always love. I'll see you in a little bit. Pieces with no Reese's. That was kind of corny, actually. Why did I say that? I did good up until that point. Pieces with no Reese's. Are you serious? That's all I had. All right, y'all.